Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, January 28th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, Cash App $sign ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the AFC Championship game, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. And then right after this, we're going to be dipping right into the Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So get locked and loaded. We're going to be here for the next 7 hours, maybe 8, depending on how these games end up going. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. And we had an amazing Royal Rumble last night. Congratulations to Bailey and Cody Rhodes. And, we'll see you at WrestleMania. And then for this weekend, to finish up on a high note, we got the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes trying to win on the road and create a little bit of destiny, saying that, you can't do it. You're not good enough. The Ravens are the best team. But we know as long as Pat is playing, the Chiefs are always going to have a chance, just like when Tom Brady was on the Patriots, whether you liked him or you hated him, or you loved the Pats or you hated the Pats, you knew if Belichick, Brady, and Gronk were there, they would have a chance. And the same thing goes for Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce. This is going to be their toughest test, to date. Having to go on the road than playing at home is completely different. And the Ravens have been the better team in the AFC all year. The number one team in the AFC, the number one team in the NFL. And then on the flip side, as we get into the next game with the Detroit Lions and San Francisco 49ers, they have been the 1, 2, or 3 pretty much all year. We saw the Eagles and we saw the Cowboys kind of float to the top, and we've seen a few other teams, kind of make their way, but pretty much for the most part, the Niners and the Ravens for at least maybe the last 2 months of the season, there was no debate that these were the two best teams in the NFL after the Eagles were 10-1 and went on their slide, and then the Cowboys proved that they couldn't really win, big games at home or on the road. So I'm definitely excited to see if the Lions can bring it, and it's kind of ironic now with these 4 teams, all 4 of them have elite tight ends, and I think this is the first time that we've seen this, where you got Sam Laporta, you got George Kittle, you got Travis Kelce, you got Mark Andrews, and those are the 4 best tight ends in the NFL. So it's pretty much saying, hey, if you don't get a top tight end, on your team, the chances of you getting to the AFC, NFC Championship game or Super Bowl are going to be that much harder. Let's go, baby. Aiden in the building. What's good? Renee in the building. What's good? Sarah in the building. What's good? Let's go. And I got the Ravens spinning logo when they got the ball. We got the Chiefs spinning logo as well. So I got that taken care of. We got that. And then with the thumbnail, boom, we got the Patrick Mahomes and we got the Lamar. And then as we dip into the second game, we got the Niners and the Lions spinning logos as well. And with the Niners, obviously, we're going to hit you with some Jared Goff in the offense and Christian McCaffrey run CMC. So it's going to be a long day. I know Paisley, I tried to prep her and let her know how long of a day it's going to be. We did go on a long walk. I did get a chance to go to the store, grab some Monster Energy drinks, Mountain Dew, some chips, some peanut M&Ms, some little fried rice and chicken and whatnot. So I got everything set up for today, besides pizza, which I don't necessarily think I'll need for today. And then as we go into these 2 games, tomorrow we'll do an AFC, NFC Championship game reaction video for both. And there's not a whole lot going on the NHL side the next couple days. So I'll figure out if we end up doing a stream tomorrow or if I just do the reaction videos to these 2 games tomorrow morning. And then we end up taking the day off, or we may end up doing an NBA or NHL stream. And then on Tuesday, there's not very many games either because we're getting closer to the All-Star break. But the Kraken are on Tuesday, so we'll definitely do that. Thanks for helping out with the Twitter/X, but it felt good to get some love and representation last night with Odin's son, with the Chiefs Kingdom, as well as Cyberpunk. So, I felt good being able to go to the grocery store and drop like, 40, $50 on just basic stuff, just to be able to have it, for not only today, but moving forward. So, the skills competition, and are you talking about the NHL? I might be doing the NHL All Star Game, but it all depends on the timing on what events that we have. I do enjoy the MLB All Star Game festivities with the Home Run Derby and the All Star Game. I think it's the best. NHL, in my opinion, is number two, and then the NBA is three because they've went away from tradition. And number four, obviously, is the Pro Bowl. I don't think anyone really watches it. I mean, I've tried to watch it these last couple of years, and I'm such a fan. I end up typically still watching it, even if I complain about it. But this might be the first year where when they're starting to do these activities and everything, skills competition type stuff on the NFL side. I don't know. It's just not for me. Flag football isn't for me either. If we're going to do, a Pro Bowl, let's have them hit and let's have them get back to going to Hawaii like they used to, where it actually kind of meant something. But obviously, with the Pro Bowl, it doesn't mean anything to these players. Just like Pro Bowl nods don't mean a whole lot. All pro nods mean everything. So I can't wait to be able to see what we end up getting here today. Let's go. Mark Andrews is back. Let's go. I'm not sure if I'll do a reaction video to the skills competition, but and I'm not sure necessarily about the All-Star game itself. But if I'm able to do the All-Star game live play-by-play and reactions, yeah, I definitely want to do that for sure. I'm fully invested in the NHL, so like I said, there's not a lot of people on YouTube that are, and most people when they do football, that's what they stick with. But with us, I mean, we pretty much do football, basketball, baseball, football, hockey, wrestling, all of the above. But the main thing that's taking a step back on the channel is probably going to be the NBA and NASCAR. I'll still consider it, but right now for me, it's going to be college football, NFL, WWE, AEW, NHL, MLB, Mariners, and beyond. And then if we have room, we'll do March Madness when that's appropriate. And then the NBA and NASCAR are kind of like last tier. And I wouldn't mind doing a NASCAR. It just depends on if we end up getting enough people to come through and hang out to make it worthwhile. And then with the NBA, I think the NBA product has been not the greatest in the last couple of years, but they have been scoring a lot of points this season with not a lot of defense. But once we get into the NBA playoffs, I will do some live streams at that point, and I'll sprinkle in a few during the regular season. So, Megan in the building, let's go. I'm excited. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Everyone, make sure you take care of your mental health. You only got one. I can't wait for this electric matchup, baby. Patrick Mahomes, what his legacy would mean if he ends up winning this game on the road. And for Taylor Swift and all the Swifties, of course, they're going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce. Okay. But on the flip side, with the Baltimore Ravens, this is really big for Lamar's legacy as well. On draft day, he said, I'm going to bring them a chip. I'm going to bring them a championship. And this is the closest that he has been to making that a reality. And, again, you end up being the underdog against Brady, and now the Chiefs have become the villain. It took them a few years to become the villain and to be the top dog and to wait for Tom Brady and Gronk to retire. But you knew at some point someone had to be the villain other than the New England Patriots, and now it's the Kansas City Chiefs. We recognize how great they are. We recognize how great Pat is and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, right? But I feel, legacies are going to be made today, and it's either going to be the narrative that Patrick Mahomes is going to be on Mount Rushmore and he's a top 5 quarterback, no debate. Stop coming at me with all this information, right, and stats and analytics. Or we're going to say, hey, Lamar, he finally had the defense that he never had in the past. And finally now with Roquan Smith and company, this team is good enough to not only beat the Chiefs, but maybe to win the whole thing because they've already beat the Niners once. And we assume the Niners are going to beat the Lions unless Brock Purdy or Run CMC get hurt in the game. So anything is possible. As long as you're in the AFC, NFC championship game, anyone can beat anyone on any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. We know that. But heavy favorites, obviously being Baltimore and San Fran. And it's much harder to win on the road in the AFC, NFC championship game than it is in the earlier rounds. Let's go, baby. Let's get to 10 likes, and hopefully we can get to 20 and then go from there. Let's go. I'm excited. Let's go. Hulk smash the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Oh, baby. Woke up early, went on a long, long walk, got a chance to go to the store. So I've been out and about for a little bit, and we're about to grind here for the next 7 hours. Let's go. I hope you feel better. Hope you feel better. Well, hell, if the Baltimore Ravens end up making the Super Bowl, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better. So, and I assume a majority of America, is going for Baltimore just because we've seen that, we've done that with Kansas City. Unless you are a Chiefs Kingdom, fan, then obviously you're going to ride or die with Patrick Mahomes until you're dead. It's like as long as Pat is there, you not only know that you can be the face or you can be the heel. If were the face early on and now you're the villain, that's what happens when you're elite for a long, long period of time, right? And then with Baltimore, we like seeing new teams get there. And obviously, it would be amazing to be able to see a Baltimore Ravens or a Detroit Lions team make it. But Lions don't have a defense. There's Ray Lewis in the building to hype them up. And normally the rule is offense can win you some games, but defense wins the big games and defense wins championships. Last time I checked, the Chiefs have an amazing top 5D. The Ravens have a top 5D. The Niners have a top 5D, and the Lions do not. So it'll be like the first time, ever that if the Lions end up beating San Fran, that they could be like, look at us. We don't even have a top defense, and we can still compete, with the big dogs. So, but I think a majority of us would say the Niners are going to win. I would say probably, what do we think? Maybe 75 to 85% of America probably thinks that, the Niners are going to win, deservedly so, right? Sometimes a Cinderella story has to end a little early, right? And then with this game, I think it's more 50-50 because we already know with Patrick Mahomes, they do have a defense. The offense has been shaky. No Kadarius Toney. And here we go. But as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, you know that you legitimately have a better shot than any other quarterback on the road. You got Josh Allen, you got Justin Herbert, you got Joe Burrow, you got a lot of these other guys that are out there. But, the way that the season has played out with Lamar, offensive line's played good, running game has played good, wide receivers, each guy has done their role. Mark Andrews is back, defense has been lit. It's all about protecting the football and not turning it over. And let's see if Lamar starts off hot or if he starts off a little slow like he did last game. No Willie Gay for Casey. That's big. And I saw Kadarius Toney on IG saying that the Chiefs are lying, that he is not hurt. But would you want Kadarius Toney playing for your Chiefs if you're a Chief fan? Hell no. So they can say, he just had a baby and then he went off on IG or whatever. But he's pretty much saying that the Chiefs are reporting him injured when he's not. But hell, I mean, I wouldn't want him out there either. If you want to have the best chance to win, that means Kadarius Toney is not playing. Facts. You don't want to have him be the guy that has a tipped pass in the air, and then the Ravens get it for a pick, and then they win the game. Second down and 9. AFC Championship game, baby. Let's go. Man in motion. Shotgun set. Lamar. Keeper. Go, go, go. Sliding down, gain of about 3 or 4. All right, 3 more likes to 10. Let's get on that. Let's get to 10, and then hopefully we can get to 20. We'll get some people to come through and show some love. Let's go, baby. I can't believe the NFL season is almost over. It's unbelievable. But I definitely put in a lot of time. I know, Sarah, we grinded it out. We might have not got all the likes and subs and views and shares and donos that we wanted. But there's one thing that people can't say, that we're lazy, and we put in a hell of a lot more work than most channels out there on top of doing the NFL, but doing a shitload of college football too. And I feel we came out on the smarter end of it too. Lamar, incomplete. What happened to my hands? And don't be surprised if these teams start off a little slow. Both defenses are top notch. You're probably going to get a higher scoring game in the Niners and the Lions. That one should be in the high 20s to low 30s. At least for the Niners. And then you would think that the Lions, hopefully for their case, can get to at least 20. And then for this game, we could end up getting into the high 20s, but if the defense is going to be stingy, right? kind of like Michigan and Alabama we saw in the college football playoff. It might end up being like a 19-17 kind of game, 23-20, something of that nature. It could end up being a little bit lower scoring than people want. Let's go. All right, let's put the Chiefs spinning logo up here. Let's go. All right, Pat, your turn. And even though the whole Taylor Swift thing kind of annoys me a little bit, I can't hate on Pat. I love Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They're a great team with Andy Reid. It's just that we haven't been able to, see, an offense run like that by Pat ever. So, once they can end up figuring out if Nagy's the guy or not, even though most people think he should be out, let's improve the wide receivers, get a free agent or two. And then if Nagy still can't get it done, then they can move on. But they're not going to make a rash decision after just 1 year. Travis Kelce with the catch. Plus, you have to also see, this deep into the run, anyone that you think that would be qualified for the Chiefs offensive coordinator job will probably already be taking a head coaching job. Could you imagine if Johnson from the Lions or Slowick ended up being the OC for the Chiefs? Like how much of a difference that would make? So those guys will end up being head coaches at some point or another. So at this point, this deep into the run, you're going to probably have to hang on to them. Mahomes. Pacheco, first down, Chiefs, move the chains. But obviously we know Nagy is no Eric Bieniemy. We know that. So that is 100% clear. But if you do get better receivers, get rid of the guys that drop, and end up getting like a Mike Evans or a T. Higgins, that's going to solve a lot of the problems because then Pat won't have to go to those other receivers. He can just go to Justin Watson, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, Pacheco, Rice, right? And then all those other guys like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. Sorry, your spot is going to get taken by someone else that's a little bit better, either as a rookie that'll be cheaper, like a Troy Franklin or Rome Odunze, or getting a T. Higgins or Mike Evans will definitely stop the bleeding on the offensive side. And even with that being said, the Chiefs are still on the brink of the Super Bowl, even though this offense has problems with drops. So it shows you how good KC is, and they're very lucky that their defense has been this good this season. That kind of balances it out, because if KC's defense was like Buffalo's, they're not even here today. So, they have to pray and feel good that, that defense ended up being top 5 this year, because normally the offense is top 5, defense is top 15. Now the offense is like top 15, but sometimes they'll creep in the top 10 in certain categories, and then the defense is top 5, sometimes number 2, number 3. Let's go, baby. Chiefs, 3 straight plays of 10. Where's that Ravens D? They're at home. No excuses. Mahomes. And you got to think that the plays are going to be more magnified too. The fumbles, the punch outs, the picks, the fumble for touchdown, the pick 6 for a touchdown, the punt return, kick return for a touchdown. If we get any of those in this game, that's definitely going to help, that particular team a lot more than the average game. 2nd down and 9. Let's go. Shotgun set for Mahomes. Nice, heavy dose of Pacheco, which I would be doing too. You want to make sure you have a balanced offense. You don't have to go run, or pass. You want to make sure you're sprinkling in a little bit of both, and you should. You have Isaiah Pacheco. He actually is one of the top 10 backs in the NFL. It seems like he might not be number 1 or number 3 or number 5, but I would assume that most people would put Pacheco, based off his skill set, somewhere between 7 and 12 in the NFL. Sometimes he plays like a top 5 back, no lie. 3rd down and 2, pound the rock. Man in motion. Nice defense by the Ravens. There we go. Roquan Smith. He's a dog, baby. And that, like I said, he's the difference. They didn't have a Roquan Smith before. You got Patrick Queen and you got some of these other guys, but they're not Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith, when he's healthy, he's like Khalil Mack when he was in his prime. He's like Luke Kuechly when he was in his prime. He's like Brian Urlacher when he was in his prime. 4th down and 2. Are they going for it? Wow, look at this. Are they just trying to draw him off sides? Shotgun set. Mahomes, bootleg. Oh! First down, Chiefs. Move the chains. That was huge. And they're gonna have to be able to go for some things like that if they end up wanting to, advance to go to the Super Bowl. Nice catch by Travis Kelce. Shotgun set, Mahomes. Hands off. Pacheco, short game. Hybrid in the building, yeah. But you already know it's like Lamar and Mark Andrews are like PB&J. It's the same thing. Just like Jared Goff and Sam Laporta and Brock Purdy and George Kittle. Like when you have a good tight end, it makes everything so much easier for your football team. A guy that can block, a guy that can catch, a guy that can run, a guy that got great yak yards, a guy that's strong. It's the first time that we've had the top 4 tight ends in the game, AFC NFC championship game at the same time. We've never seen this before. Let's go, baby. Flag on the play. Holding on Baltimore. Kyle Van Noy was a good pickup for the Ravens too. Just because he might not be the most popular name, but you just need to get good role players that are going to play with each other and take each other to that next level and encourage each other to hold each other accountable to get the most out of each player in each scenario. Daniel in the building. What's good? Again, as long as you have Pat Mahomes, it's just going to be like Tom Brady. Regardless if it's at home or on the road, they're always going to be in the game. Always. Mahomes, touchdown, Travis Kelce. Wow. Wow. Nice job, Chiefs. That's what you needed. You need your best players to step up in the biggest moments. Let's go. Little back shoulder, 1-on-1. You ain't guarding that. Sorry, Hamilton. I know you're from Notre Dame and you're a rookie and whatnot, but you ain't going to be able to, as athletic as you are, Travis Kelce is going to be able to body you. Now, we already know the rook from Notre Dame is great. He's going to end up being a Pro Bowl. Hell, he might be a Hall of Fame player one day. But that's just a tough, tough matchup against one of the greatest tight ends that ever lived, Travis Kelce. Huge, huge. All right, Ravens, your turn. Wow. Not what you wanted if you are a Ravens fan at home, seeing the Chiefs go all the way down and score, especially when your defense, is top notch. But again, both defenses are top 5, so you're going to have moments like that. Extra point is up, and it's good. I'm telling you, Pat Mahomes is that dude. Huge. What a touchdown to set the tone. Nice job, Pat. All right, Lamar, your turn. Play calling will be very crucial for Baltimore. How much running they do, and when they decide to open up the play action. You don't want to get behind on the Chiefs. Let's go, baby. 7-0. Chiefs. Megan with a fiver. I hope you feel a little bit better. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus jack. Bang, bang, $5 holla. 95 to go to hit the goal. And then we're going to take no breaks. And as soon as this game is over, we're going right into the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. $5. Let's get to a hundo. Let's go. 86-yard drive. I don't know if anyone anticipated that. But again, that's why, when you have two of the greatest to play together with Brady and Gronk and Mahomes and Kelsey, this is going to be a regular thing for a long, long time, until, Andy Reid leaves or, if the defense gets much, much worse. Touchback. And they be popping out them babies, huh? Well, I assume Pat wants to have a boy, so that way he can pass down the legacy and whatnot. What they have 2 girls so far, don't they? Trying to go for a boy, I would assume. Nothing wrong with having 3 girls, but if you could have 2 girls and a boy, I would assume that, I imagine Brittany loves it having the girls, but having a boy in the home would be cool too. Play action fake, Lamar. Get rid of it, Lamar. Golly. Oh, he already has a boy and a girl. All right, so then I guess you're. It doesn't matter then. You already got a boy and a girl. Then on top of that, then that's going to be 2 boys or 2 girls at that point. At least Lamar didn't force it. This isn't the game to be forcing the football against a good defense. Both defenses are very, very good, very, very stout. But there are holes in that Chiefs secondary if you can get the ball, and match up against those players. 2nd down and 10. Man in motion. Shotgun set, Lamar. Mark Andrews, baby. Great to see him back. They're going to need him too. Third and 1. Good stop. Chiefs defense. Wow. 4th down and 1. What do you do? I mean, you can tush push it here if you need to, or give it to your fullback, right? Go to Ricard. Why don't you give it to Ricard or Lamar? There we go. There we go. Go, go. 1st down, Ravens. Move the chains. Well, what made that play successful is he was patient. He waited after the ball was snapped, and then he waited for the players to start moving. Then he waited, and then he hit the hole. He didn't just go run right into the hole right when everyone was, going at the snap. Watch. He takes his time, takes a stutter step, then boom, waits for the hole to open up, even if it's just for a split second, bang, and then going downhill. And, sometimes being able to be patient for that half second or second can get you so many more positive yards. Nice job, Lamar. 1st down, Ravens. Move the chains. Good, I went with Ricard there, too. Administrative timeout with something with the clock. What would you like for photos? You got something specific Seahawk-wise that you want, or Kraken? You let me know what you're looking at, and I got you. And I know the Kraken are on later today, so I will watch. that it will be starting around the end of the 49ers and Lions game tonight. That game is on at 6 o'clock. There's only two games on the NHL today. Kings and Blues are on right now, and then the Blue Jackets and Kraken are on at 6. And release the Kraken, defend the deep. We are going to win tonight. And then on Monday, we only have one NHL game, the Preds and the Senators. And then on Tuesday, we only have two games, Blue Jackets and Blues, Kraken and Sharks. And we will definitely be doing Kraken and Sharks on Tuesday. So we'll see what we do tomorrow. We may just do AFC, NFC reaction videos, and that's it. And then, or I'll do those, and then maybe we'll do an NBA live stream because I'm not sure if I really want to do that particular matchup for tomorrow. I'm not sure if I really care that much about the Predators and the Senators. Not really. So I'm thinking probably won't do NHL tomorrow. So maybe just reaction videos and that's it. Or maybe reaction videos and then maybe the Sixers played the Blazers at 7, and I haven't done a Blazer game in a minute. The Blazers are terrible. Embiid, just came off that big, 70 game. So I don't know. We'll see. I know a lot of the Nuggets fans were pissed at Embiid for not playing against the Joker. I would be too if I bought tickets. Oh, no worries. But if you want me to throw up some Lamars for you once you get settled in, you let me know, and I got you. And then hopefully we'll end up seeing something big. Touchdown, Ravens. Okay, I understand. I'll just sprinkle in a bunch of beautiful Lamars for you, throughout the day, and then we'll go from there. Oh, baby, look at Gus the Bus, rumbling and a bumbling, baby. Extra point is up, and it's good. Let's go. Look at Lamar avoiding the sack lunch in this little replay. He's like, let me go deep. Oh, hi, you're wide open. Touchdown, Zay Flowers. Yes, sir. They have weaknesses back there. That secondary for the Chiefs is not very good. And they haven't had a Zay Flowers type of player, on the team in a long time. So obviously you can see how much of a difference it's made this year. You got Rashee Rice on one side making big plays for the Chiefs, but you also got another guy on the Ravens, Zay Flowers, making big plays too. I see you, Zay. Good game so far. Nice job, Zay. I love it when we see rookies and second year players and new guys step up to make big plays. That extra point is up and good by the field goal god, Justin Tucker, J Tuck. We're knotted up at 7, baby. All right, Chiefs, your turn. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. But again, you got to, they got L'Jarius Sneed, but I don't think anyone really fears L'Jarius Sneed. Like, you got like, Ward on the Niners. No one fears him either. Like, I think people would fear like Talanoa Hufanga, guys like Palomalu or like Ed Reed. But, if you're a corner and you're a safety and you've made the Pro Bowl or All Pro, that's great. But that doesn't mean that every team that's got an elite quarterback is going to like not throw to you. There's nobody in the league right now that's like Dion where they're like, nope, or like Darrelle Revis where they're like, nope, I'm throwing to the other side. So great throw. That was sweet. Seriously, that was so sweet. All right, let me go use the restroom here real quick while I got a chance. Let's go. All right, I'm back. What you thought maybe Hollywood Brown was going to be, right? Zay has got a little bit more skill set, though. Hollywood Brown is kind of a deep threat. I think Zay can go deep, but he's got better intermediate routes and better hands. A little bit more reliable. But you got to think Hollywood Brown did have a good connection at that time, And Hollywood Brown can have a good connection with any quarterback, whether it's Lamar or Kyler or whoever he ends up going to. But his thing is like getting hurt and banged up too often. Kickers. Who would have thought, huh? Matt in the building. What's good? LaMarvelous. Oh, that's tough. Well, hopefully by the time the game is on tonight at 6 o'clock in about 5.5 hours, I'll have the game on while I'm watching the NFC Championship game, and hopefully, by that time you'll feel better. Good tackle by the Ravens. I found out this really cool thing too with my Vizio TV. My remote stopped working after I put the batteries in. They actually have an app that you can download onto your phone, and then you can use that as a remote. Pretty dope, and that's got all these crazy features on it as well. So you don't even necessarily have to have the remote. You can always get like a universal remote or the remote that came with your TV. But I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I went through like 3 sets of batteries, and I was getting pissed Like I had certain buttons working on the remote, but the actual click on a program and go up and down, left and right wasn't working. I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do? Pat scrambling and gambling. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X. I appreciate you. 3rd and 1. Man in motion. Wide open. There we go. Nice lob to Kelsey. First down, Chiefs. Move the chains. All right, we hit 10. We need 10 more to get to 20. And hopefully we'll get a few more people coming through. And then I'll be doing the Lions and the Niners right after this. Let's go. 10 more. I would be watching the game, Matt. Like I said, as much as you got college football, with the Ducks running in your veins. You know what I mean? Like we go all NFL season, to be able to watch these big games. And I wouldn't say that the Ravens are a lock. I mean, this game could go either way. This is the most 50-50 game out of the two games. The Niners are 75% to 25% to the Lions. This one is 50-50. End of the first quarter, we're knotted up at 7. Take a look at these last kind of replays here. 2nd down and 6, short game. Nice Ravens starting to kind of clean up some of those mistakes that they had early on defense, trying to buckle down a little bit. But obviously, you can go deep on this team. You can go deep on the Ravens. You can go deep on the Chiefs. It's just that can you have enough time by the offensive line to give you enough time for Lamar to find Zay or for Mahomes to find Rice or Kelsey deep? Let me see this replay of this 3rd and 4. Shotgun set on 3rd and 4. Mahomes. Nice catch. First down, Chiefs. Okay. That's the first quarter, baby. Good first quarter. And this might be not the last time that we see these two teams battle for a Super Bowl berth. This might be one of many. Mahomes and Lamar still got a lot of playing time before they're going to be, retired. So, all right, Rice, I see you. I mean, it could be, and like I said, Mahomes' legacy too, being able to, prove to people that, yeah, we've been able to win at home, but now, it's like, hey, I can win on the road as well, and then for obviously for Lamar and his legacy, like being able to get past Patrick Mahomes and everyone else and seeing if they can end up, being a champion. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out and a lot on the line for both. Lamar's legacy as well as Pat's legacy moving forward. Big facts. but it almost feels like it's going to be a little bit bigger for Lamar because we don't know how often they're going to be able to get here. With the Chiefs, they're almost a guaranteed spot in the AFC Championship game every single year. With the Ravens, it's not. So it's like you got to make sure you're taking advantage of your team when your team is really, really good, and you get as far as possible as you can every time that you are a Super Bowl contender, not like a Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that was a Super Bowl pretender. You want to make sure that if you're a contender, that you can knock off the Tom Brady, aka Patrick Mahomes of this generation. It's not going to be easy, but they definitely have a team good enough. Wow, Rice bouncing off people. Mahomes, little checked out, pow, spin, pow, pow. You can tell Ravens are trying to hurt him out there. Well, it's not only I think he knows how to win, is that he actually has a defense to complement him. He's never had that before, at least not this good with a guy like Roquan Smith in the middle. Like they haven't had a Ray Lewis type of impact guy. It's like before, you had like Haloti Nata up front. You had Ray Lewis in the middle. You had Ed Reed on the back end. It's been a few years where the Ravens have had a stud player, that they could really count on. It's like you've had like Calais Campbell and some of these other guys, but really for me, it's the having a defense as good as the offense, sometimes even better than the offense. That's really the difference this year for the Baltimore Ravens. Yep. Yep. Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis getting in that same draft together, just like Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. It's like it's not often that you're going to get two Hall of Famers in one draft, but when you can end up having great pieces on the opposite side, where everyone thinks of the Ravens as offense, and then now you're like, okay, we're getting back to that old school Raven defense with Ray Lewis, Nata, and Ed Reed. Oh, Kelsey, what a catch! Wow, Kelsey is balling out there. It's that dude. Yeah, I think that, like, I mean, there's positives with both teams. I mean, the Chiefs used to be the underdog with Brady. Now they're the villain, and they're going to be the villain, I feel, for the rest of Mahomes' career. Like, regardless if they win or they lose, the Chiefs are going to be regarded as the NFL villain, even if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey break up and there's not as much coverage on that. It's still, they're going to be the top dog year in and year out, it seems. And then on the NFC side, it'll rotate every year because there's a little bit more. Consistency, and there's a little bit more, I don't know. I want to say with the teams more balanced because I feel that it kind of changes each year. But with the NFC, it's not going to be the same team year in and year out. But as long as there's an AFC championship game, the Chiefs are probably going to be one team that's in it. Like if you had a 5-year stretch, the Chiefs are probably going to be in the AFC championship game 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. And the same thing goes for the Niners. I feel that they're going to be in the NFC championship game either 4 out of 5 years or all 5. Now, will they win? Not every time, but they'll get there. And I think that, those are the two teams that are kind of the cream of the crop of each AFC, NFC. And then if you're playing them, Baltimore, Detroit, or whoever it is in the future, you just have to make sure you match that intensity and you have defensive players that can slow them down. I know, me too. It's like I want Lamar to win, but for Pat to be able to show his legacy of being like Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, these are the types of games that you have to win. Put yourself in Mount Rushmore. And then for everyone else that doesn't like the Swifties or Taylor Swift or Kelsey or Mahomes, or they're tired of this Chiefs story, then obviously a majority of America, other than Chiefs fans, are rooting for something different, something new in Lamar Jackson and that defense. Pump fake by Mahomes. Run it, baby. Run it, baby. There you go. First down, Chiefs. Yeah, but you're more of a Lamar fan to begin with, so you don't give a shit about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You know, it's like you like the Seahawks, you like the Ravens, you like Lamar. So there's no wanting the Chiefs to win in any scenario in your book. That's okay. And then obviously with the Lions, they don't have a defense. They have a great story with Dan Campbell and all, but if you don't got a defense, I mean, the only way I could see the Lions winning that game is if Purdy or Christian McCaffrey get hurt. That's like the only way. But it's cool to be able to see the Lions, not make the playoffs in 30 years and win 2 playoff games, and hopefully this won't be the last time that we see the Lions. Hopefully that we'll be able to see them again. But remember, just like the Cincinnati Bengals, with Joe Burrow, when they ended up going to the Super Bowl and beating the Chiefs, it seemed like, oh, we're going to see Burrow every year, and we haven't seen Burrow since. So, at that level, so you got to understand AFC Championship game appearances and NFC Championship game appearances are not common, and you got to make sure you take advantage while you're there, let alone the Super Bowl. Touchdown, Chiefs! Nice job by Pacheco. He's a dog. And the Chiefs' experience factor strikes again. And one part of this game that no one is talking about is the Ravens O-line and the Chiefs O-line. That's really the key of the game. The line of scrimmage is always going to be that way. You're going to hear about Chris Jones. You're going to hear about these other guys on that Ravens defensive line, right? But it's going to be the O-line for the Chiefs and the O-line for the Ravens. Which one will play better? That's the team that's going to end up winning this game and go to the Super Bowl. It's crazy how you can go from underdog to villain in a matter of a couple years, but that's where we're at. It's going to be a great game, let me tell you. Nice job, Pacheco. And that's a big difference for the Chiefs, too. They haven't had a Pacheco kind of back in a minute. You had Jamal Charles and you've had other guys, over the years like Larry Johnson, and you've seen other guys like the Nigerian Nightmare and Christian Okoye and Derek Thomas back in my childhood. But they haven't had a dynamic running back like a Jamal Charles, since Pacheco. So it's like you've had these other guys there, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire is more of an RB2, RB3. And I do like Jerick McKinnon, but he's more of an RB2, RB3 also. So Pacheco, even though he may be a little undersized to some, he's a lot stronger and a lot more physical, even though his frame only looks like he's like 5'8" and maybe like 180, 190 pounds. But in reality, he plays much bigger than what his frame looks like on TV. Big fact. All right, Chiefs, I see you. Just like Tom Brady and the Patriots, they have no fear on the road. All right, Ravens, your turn. 14-7 Chiefs. And obviously, this is not a good sign for Baltimore. If your defense is supposed to be the strongest thing about your team, not looking too hot right now. I mean, obviously, we know both offenses are amazing with Lamar and Pat. But again, defense wins games, defense wins championships. And what defense is going to end up stepping up more to end up winning the game for their team? Someone's going to have to make a big interception, a big strip sack, a big punch out, and we'll find out when that happens, probably in the second half. Everything is going to be a little bit more magnified. Give the ball to Gus the Boss, a little bit more Zay. Maybe go to OBJ. You can have Mark Andrews. Hell, with Lamar, you can even run the RPO with Lamar and you can have him run. I know it's not necessarily something that they have to do every quarter, but sometimes you need to open things up, and it seems like Lamar doesn't run as much as he did in the past years because they haven't had the talent. for him to throw to. But now they have the talent to throw to and run, so you don't have to force runs anymore if you're Lamar Jackson. And I think that's a big part of their success also this year too. He kind of reads the defense and he picks and he chooses when to try to establish him as the main runner. Lions and Niners on tonight, baby. We got this matchup right now, and then we'll transition into this matchup right after this. Let's go, baby. All right, Ravens, your turn. Let's go, Lamar. But this is a fun matchup. I mean, obviously, we already know what the whole coverage with Taylor and whatnot. But if you can just put that to the side for a second and just look at Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and what they've accomplished, being the Kansas City Chiefs, it's pretty amazing, man. To be able to see, greatness right in front of your very eyes. And honestly, the Chiefs could probably end up getting better OCs and DCs. Spags definitely could be replaced, and same thing with Nagy. So just imagine if you ended up having T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Troy Franklin, and then you ended up cleaning house and getting rid of the OC and the DC and getting two guys that are better. If anything, those two guys are holding them back. They're holding Pat and Travis and Reed back. If you actually had two guys that were a little bit more capable, and I think Spags is better than Nagy, but still, at this point, Spags has been kind of a staple for them. And if you wanted to keep him, fine. But I'm just saying there's other guys out there that are just as good as him, if not better, but they want to keep that continuity. So, but Nagy will more than likely be replaced in the next 2 to 3 years. But they may give him one more year just to see if it was, him and the lack of talent and hands on the team, or if they end up bringing in Mike Evans, T. Higgins, or some rookies, and if that solves the problems, and then we don't have to talk about Nagy anymore. Shotgun set. First down. Okay, no problem. Look at that. Lewis, Melvin, Harbaugh, Spagnuolo, Reed, Pinkston. Anytime a team has got a top, 10 offense, top 10 defense, they're always going to be in the mix. Wow. Big, big defensive play that I was just talking about. And then there it is. And not only do you get the sack lunch, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. But you get the strip sack and you get the football. And now you already know that the Chiefs are going to go up a minimum of 17-7. Experience does matter. Offensive line. If your offensive line plays well, that doesn't happen. Big play by the Chiefs. First big turnover of the day. Smash that like button, baby. Yeah. Well, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to have CM Punk win the Rumble, but we have to just see. We have to kind of wait and see what the storyline is going to be as it all plays out. Because of course, they already have the storyline months in advance on where they're going to go with it. So obviously, everything predetermined, months in advance. But I think Royal Rumble was pretty good. What would we give Royal Rumble overall? I mean, only 4 matches, women's, men's. I mean, obviously the Logan Paul Kevin Owens was too short and ended not the way that we wanted. But other than that, I mean, it was a good solid, 9.5 pay per view. I mean, we could have got a little bit longer of a match with Owens and Paul, and then I think it could have been like a 9.5 or a 10. But there was a few fuck ups in the women's Royal Rumble too, with some of the ladies there with a little lack of experience, but a good 9.5. That's a little bit better than than we maybe anticipated. And if we had a bunch of extra jobber matches on top of that, then it probably would have been an 8.5, like it normally is every pay per view that we do. So less matches ended up working out for them. Mahomes, and obviously when you're ahead, what do? You pound the rock. And obviously Andy Reid knows that, and Harbaugh knows that. So making sure you're bleeding the clock. You are controlling the tempo, and now the Ravens need a turnover at the highest level. Again, remember, offense can win some games and win some quarters, but defense wins the big games. Defense wins championships. You only gave it a 7.5. Why did you give it a 7.5? Did you expect someone other than Roman to win? Did you expect Kevin Owens to win? Did you expect different winners than Cody and Bailey? Why would you give it only a 7.5? What was so bad about it? I mean, the only negative things that I saw were a couple fuck ups by the ladies in the women's Royal Rumble where it wasn't as clean as it could have been, and then the shortness of the Logan Paul Owens match, and then the ending. But again, I like Eddie Guerrero. We lie, we cheat, we steal. And anytime obviously you don't want to have Kevin Owens get caught using the brass knucks, but I mean, Logan Paul wasn't dropping that belt at any point, so they have to give new creative ways to have him win and not have him look like the bad guy all the time. Even though he is a heel. The crowd kind of did it for you. What? The crowd not being into it as much, like kind of just like sitting on their hands and not really getting into it. 7.5 out of 10 is terrible. That's a terrible pay per view. That's like if we had normally if we were grading Finley, like if we had 7 matches and only like 3 were good, and then you get like a 7.5 or like 4 are good out of 7. Damn, 7.5? That's hella low. I think almost every pay per view, even like the Saudi Arabian ones and all these other ones, at least get an 8. He said Royal Rumble 7.5. Damn. It takes a lot to make Finley happy. What would have made it better? What would have made it better for you that you would have given it a higher grade? Like what things could have been different for you personally for you to be more excited about it? And I'm just curious, because every wrestling fan is different. Like you said, you're not going to make everyone happy. I just want to try to understand what your brain, like, on the matches, like what you didn't like about it, so I can understand a little bit better. Because I mean, there was parts that in the women's Royal Rumble where and even the men's where you were just kind of like, like you're kind of going through the motions, right? It's like the guy comes in and then they're just laying on the ground, and then there's a couple guys kicking guys on the stomach, and they're just kind of waiting for the next guy to come in. So there's some moments in the women's and men's Royal Rumble where it does get a little lackadaisical and boring, for a few minutes at a time, but overall, I enjoyed the show. 2nd and 9. Mahomes, good protection up front. I'm surprised we haven't had any holds on the O-line and D-line, because I've seen holding on almost every fucking play. But I guess they'll wait until the second half or just let them play. Oh, Rice is gone. Look at that. But I respect it, man. And not everyone is going to enjoy every match or every pay per view. Each person is going to have different things that they like. Like for me, I like lucha libre wrestling. I like fast paced wrestling. I like hardcore wrestling, with weapons and whatnot. So, everyone's going to have their favorite wrestlers and their favorite type of matches. Kelsey, close to the marker. Yeah, 4th and 1. And a 4th and 1, the Lamar's D bailed him out, but at 4th and 1, I get it's a big AFC championship game. Take the points. You got the turnover. Take the points. And you didn't get it. You should have took the points. Take the points. You know what I mean? Like that could end up being the reason why the Chiefs lose this game. You have to not get cocky. If you end up getting a turnover, of course it would be great to go up 21-7, but you're playing the fucking Ravens. You know what I mean? Give them some respect. And obviously, these teams don't respect each other at all because they're both going to go for it on 4th down, 4th and inches, 4th and 5. They don't give a fuck. But again, if you end up going for it and you leave points on the board where you could be up 17-7, and then if you naturally get a 3-and-out and then you get a field goal, you're going to still be up 20-7. There is no reason to go for it because essentially now you lose the momentum. And then if they tie it up, you're not even down by, 10 points. You're not down by 7. You're not down by 13. Like literally, you get a score and it's knotted up, not being down by 10. So that was the first big fuck up in the game. I mean, you already know the Niners and Chiefs see when they need to be. They can run stuff you with the best of them. But that was a very clear. I don't know if that was a Nagy call, but if it was me, you always get points off a turnover for the mental and the moral support. You don't want to get a turnover and then get all the way down to like the 10 or the 20 and then say, fuck it. Let's just try to put our foot on the jugular. We're not in the fourth quarter. We're in the second quarter. Take the points. You have a good kicker. 17-7. When the Ravens look up at that at the scoreboard, they're like, fuck. They're not like, oh, we're in the game. It's not the same as 14-7. 17-7, it's not good. Mentally, you already feel like you're behind the 8 ball, which you are, right? But now you go for it. You get cocky. And now the Ravens will see if they can, not have a 3-and-out and maybe make them pay and at least get 3 to make it 14-10. If it ends up not being 14-14, that's fine. But if the Ravens get a field goal off this drive before we go into half, big momentum going into halftime. So this game could go either way. I mean, like I said, I don't think that there is not that much of a gap between both of these teams. And again, if you could pick any team to play on the road, that you would have confidence in, you would pick both of these teams on the road, right? Or the Niners. And you would feel, you know what? We're not going to win them all, but we know what we feel pretty good that we can do just as good on the road as we do at home. And I think those are the 3 most confident road teams in the NFL: the Niners, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. So, man, I'm shocked that they did that. But again, there's a lot on the line, and maybe they think that they can't win unless they go up 21-7 against this team. Being on the road, they have to keep going for it, going for it, going for it, right? I mean, look how far back the Ravens are, too. They need to get at least a couple first downs. Let's go, Lamar. Plus, also too, I think to go from the underdog, the Mahomes against Brady as being the villain, and now Brady and Gronk are out of the league, and Belichick, and then now the Chiefs are the villain. At some point, you don't want to see the same teams. Wow, first down, Ravens. Are you kidding me? Let me tip it up to myself. Wow, Lamar is insane. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Lamar up in the air. He's like, I'm not letting that get picked off. Fuck that. I'm chasing that bitch. And imagine if he didn't chase that, that gets picked by a Chief player. Talk about great awareness. He's like, not on my QBR. I'm not letting affect that my stat line. If the Ravens lose, it's not going to be my fault. Wow. Wow. Great play by Lamar. I mean, what can't Lamar can't do? He's fucking amazing. A robot. And the sad thing is about the Ravens, they're not full strength because a lot of times when they get lackadaisical or they get into a moment where things are running in mud, what would they do in the past? Right? They would go to Mark Andrews, and then that would get you another first down and get the momentum. Mark Andrews, he might be able to get out there for a few snaps. Maybe he's out there and plays a little bit, and maybe he's effective. Maybe he's not. Obviously, not 100%. But that check down guy and that security blanket. Who is it going to be if it's not Mark Andrews today? They have to establish that in the second half. It just can't be Zay because that's their touchdown guy. Someone else has to come up here. 2nd and 9. Good defense. I don't know how many quarterbacks would have been able to throw the ball, have it get tipped up in the air, and then have the awareness to run 10 yards and actually prevent an interception and get it. We've seen like Justin Herbert and a few others, have it get deflected in the air or back to them off a helmet. But that was crazy. That could have been a really big game-changing play. Turnovers haven't hurt either team that much just yet. 3rd down and 9. Good defense there. Chris Jones. And remember, Lamar can run and Lamar can throw, you know what I mean? But as far as like a quarterback, going through the motions, I mean, you're going to trust Mahomes typically a little bit more with, what he does, game in and game out. Besides, this season with a lot of the drops, but again, a lot of the drops weren't because of Pat. It was because of the receivers. It's not like every ball he threw was high or low, or behind the receiver. Big defense there by the Chiefs. 4th down and 9, Ravens with the punt. What happens when you have 2 top 5 defenses? All right, Chiefs, your turn. Ron Breaker and Gunther at Mania. I mean, if you're rooting for Lamar, you just want to be able to have someone different and someone new, just like when we saw Joe Burrow and the Bengals. It was the same thing. Someone other than the Chiefs or the Patriots, and getting Joe Burrow to make it that year was exciting. But remember, I think Bengals fans thought, oh, we're going to be here every year. And they haven't been there since. So, you got to make sure you're taking advantage, every moment that you have because you never know when that might be your last moment there. Like I'm not sure if we believe it, but do we believe the Bengals can get back to the Super Bowl again or they're never going to get back? You would assume with Joe Burrow and that team that they'll have at least one other chance to get there before Burrow retires. But what if they don't? What if that one time was it and they never get back? It's like that Michael Jordan factor, where he eliminated titles from many, many people. Clyde Drexler, Magic, obviously in that, even though Magic got titles before that, Barkley, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley on the Suns. There was a lot of titles that could have went somewhere else, and we could have spread the love a little bit more in the league. But when you get guys like Brady and Jordan that are so good, sometimes the titles are going to run through them, and as long as they're healthy, you're kind of screwed. Yeah, I was awesome to see Naomi back. You kidding? It would have been awesome to see Mercedes Monet or Sasha Banks. It would have been awesome to see her. That crowd would have went crazy. Well, hopefully we end up seeing her in NJPW, AEW, or WWE in the near future. Good game so far. AFC Championship game, and this won't be the last time that we see these two teams knuckle up. But again, whoever's offensive line plays the best is going to win this game. And that's one positional area that I don't think any of the experts have really been focusing on. Everyone likes to talk about quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. But as anyone knows, O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, play calling, and the line of scrimmage is where games are won and lost. Come on, Lamar. Let's go, baby. Great defense by Chris Jones. And obviously, if you're ahead and you're the Chiefs and you took that advantage, off that turnover, you can bleed the clock in the second half, and then they go deep. Incomplete. Rashee Rice, the intended receiver. Hamilton is a stud. Great player. It's hard to match up when you're going against typically the best tight ends in the league. Especially if you're a bigger safety. You can play corner, you can play safety, you can roam, you can hit, you can pick. But again, you have big, wide, broad shoulders, and that definitely suits them very, very well. But body position out of these tight ends like basketball players posting up a guy and backing down and creating that crease, it's tough. Nice tackle by Hamilton. Hamilton could play all over the place. If you wanted to play outside linebacker for a couple plays, free safety, strong safety, hell, if you had to have him out there at corner, playing zone, he could even do that for a play or two if needed. Good D. Game is a little bit in mud, obviously, as we thought it would be. It's like, how great Lamar and Mahomes are. They have the ability to throw for 3, 4, 5 touchdowns and 400 or 500 yards, but not when their teams have top 5 defenses. Like guys that play safety are very undervalued. Just like my guy Antoine Winfield Jr. It's like you got to make sure that you're giving the proper recognition to these guys because when you get floaters that can play corner or safety like a Rondé Barber and Antoine Winfield Jr. or like a Kyle Hamilton, they can be difference makers in the game other than guys like Roquan Smith. I see you. Cardinal Clips in the building. What's good? All right, Ravens, your turn. Good defense. That one's got to be tough for Odin's son, being a Notre Dame fan and being a Chief fan, seeing a guy that you rooted for consistently in his career at Notre Dame, and now he's fucking up your team, Notre Dame, fighting Irish, baby. All right, Lamar, your turn. Got to get points here before halftime. Let him know. Let's get Mark Andrews the ball, baby. Get Gus the bus the ball, baby. It's time for Zay and OBJ, baby. And then even if you have to take the long 50 or 60-yard field goal but before halftime, do it. You want to make sure you're as close as possible in the game, especially when you got Butker and Tucker kicking. Take the field goals while they're there. Don't get cocky. So let's go. Come on, Ravens. We need a field goal before halftime, baby. Who gets the ball in the second half? Shotgun set for Lamar. Isaiah Likely there. Got to find your targets, whether it's Mark Andrews. Don't go away from Gus the Bus because he can rip off a 20, 30-yard rip. Don't forget. And Zay might be your touchdown machine, but again, you got to be able to get the other guys involved in the offense too, even lower name guys like Isaiah Likely. Guys like that could end up being the unsung hero at the end of the game. Keep everyone involved. And right now, the Chiefs D-line is winning the opportunity on the line of scrimmage against the Ravens O-line. 2-minute warning. Good game so far. Let's go, baby. Get 8 more likes, baby. Let's get there. Chiefs letting the Ravens hang around. The Ravens need to be able to put up at least a field goal to feel good about their chances going into the second half. Best case scenario would be a touchdown, but I mean, they don't need it. Incomplete. Go Lamar. So that's another thing too. When everyone wants to say Lamar is elite, Lamar is elite, Lamar is elite. Sometimes when they end up going against a tough defense, his throwing doesn't, it doesn't hold up. I mean, it's one thing when you're doing it against shitty defenses and you're ripping them apart, but how good are you, as an elite player against an elite defense? That's really, the pecking order with quarterbacks. You might not win the game, but are you still able to throw for 2, 3, 350 yards against a really good defense? And most quarterbacks can't, but some can. And also, play calling has a big, factor into it as well. You have to know your quarterback, what he's good at, what he's not good at. You have to make sure you're fighting the weaknesses in that defense. And it's tough when you got two top five defenses. There's not a lot of wiggle room. That's why if I was the Chiefs, I would have hit that field goal with Butker. And if the Chiefs would have done that, the chances of them winning this game would have went up probably 50%. Especially if you're up 17-7 going into half. But they're letting the Ravens hang around. So the play calling has to be very crisp. You have to figure out, ways to be able to, get these chunk plays. Five completions, three batted balls. Incomplete. What happened to my hands? And why the hell are you going to Justice Hill? It's third down, a critical play where you need points, and you go to Justice Hill? See, that's the type of shit that I'm talking about right here that makes Lamar, look not as good as he is. A lot of times it's like when you're going against good defenses, Lamar kind of, I don't want to say he nuts up, but it's a combination of a shitty play call and then Lamar trying to throw it to the wrong guy. You know what I mean? Like, before we start crowning Lamar as being like, the next Patrick Mahomes or being Patrick Mahomes, these are the type of games that you need to win at home, and you need to prove to people that you can actually go through your progressions. Otherwise, Pat is going to be like Tom Brady, and he's just going to be at the top for every single fucking year. Now, you can be the NFL MVP, but if you can't score in the AFC Championship game, who gives a shit? It's about being Super Bowl MVP, not MVP. You don't want to get NFL MVP and get your ass kicked in the AFC Championship game by Mahomes every year, right? Suspect, man. They are not doing themselves any favors here, and they're at home, so they have no excuses of being in Arrowhead with everyone booing them. But maybe that's what the Ravens need. Maybe they're just going to be better on the road and more focused, me against the world, instead of being too comfortable at home. You got to look at it two different ways. Some teams are better at home with the crowd fueling them, and other teams are better on the road where it's me against the world. But that play calling stinks. It needs to be much better than that. Justice Hill, it's 14-7. It should be 17-7. Justice Hill, that's the option on third down? Unbelievable. Oh, baby. That's frustrating. Especially, it's like when you have the players, you have Lamar, you got J.K. Dobbins injured, and then you still got other guys that can step up, and then Isaiah Likely filling in for Mark Andrews, and you got Zay Flowers, and you got Odell Beckham, and you got Nelson Aguilar. It's like you got enough there, But again, O-line is going to be the big difference. What O-line is going to play better? And right now, the Chiefs O-line is playing better, and the Chiefs D-line is fucking up that O-line for the Ravens. We'll see if the proper adjustments are made in the second half. Remember, the Ravens played pretty, in the playoffs so far. They played kind of, I don't want to say lazy football, but they've kind of gone through the motions, and they haven't really played their best ball until the third or fourth quarter. So for the Ravens starting off slow like this, you shouldn't be that surprised. But again, if the Ravens have any chance, they need to, they need to be able to make the proper adjustments like they made against the Texans when it was 10-10 and they rifled off 24 in the second half. They need to be able to figure it out. Otherwise, they are not going to win this game. Right now for me, with Lamar, the offensive line has not played well and the play calling has not been good. So I don't want to really pin it just on Lamar. And the receivers and the tight ends, it's not all their fault. I would say more offensive line and bad OC calling, on the play calling for the Ravens. And with all that being said, it should be 17-7. So they're lucky. They're lucky right now that it's at this point. Okay, yeah, they're definitely going to get chippy. They don't like each other. Legacies are everything. With Harbaugh, I think that you're going to get more out of Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and unnecessary roughness. First down. But again, the O line needs a lot of work. Besides Rashawn Slater, defense has names like Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., Joey Bosa, but they get hurt every single year. So they have this injury curse that they have to be able to get past, right? So if they can get past the injury curse on defense and on offense, I would assume Harbaugh, should be able to get that team to a wild card within the first 40 years. I'm not sure if he'll be able to do it in the first year, depending on who he adds on from his staff. But it is possible the Chargers go like 10-7 and they make a wild card next year. But it might take a couple. It might not be the first year. It might be the second year that they make the playoffs. It just depends on what the Raiders do as well as the other teams. And because we obviously with Raiders and Broncos, you assume you could get past them. Maybe not get past the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs win like 11-13. The Chargers might be able to win 9 or 10 or 11. But again, injuries have been a big bugaboo for Los Angeles. So, but at least we think that Herbert's career will not be wasted now altogether. You are getting wasted opportunities with Lynn and Staley, but Harbaugh, if anyone can get them back on track, it is Harbaugh. So. I mean, I think that'll be the goal for Harbaugh, to win 10 games. That'll be the goal. Of course, the goal is to win the division. But realistically, with what they have in place, I would say maybe, try to just get to the playoffs. Oh, right into the face. Well, they're trying to injure Mahomes, huh? Try to club his face right there. But if it ends up not being year one, I would assume by year two, another set of draft picks, free agents, people wanting to play for Harbaugh, and then I would assume that they'll start building something. And then at some point, the Chargers should be one of the top 6 teams in the AFC sooner than later, but it may take a year or two, or maybe longer, depending on injuries and whatnot, right? So. I mean, that's what we do here. We read, we watch film, and we cover more sports and wrestling than any other channel. So there's not going to be a whole lot that's going to slip through, our fingers here on this channel. There's a lot of intelligent people that are on this channel. If we did Sports Jeopardy, we would fuck everybody up on YouTube. I'll tell you that. It wouldn't even be close. And that's the dedication to a lot of y'all, having passion for your favorite teams and players and just the sport in general. First down, Chiefs. But they did get the first part out of the way, an amazing head coach. So now they don't got to worry about that. You got one of the best in the world with Jim Harbaugh, and Herbert's career can be somewhat saved. But again, Harbaugh coming in isn't going to be able to, negate all the injuries that have happened in the last 15 years for the Chargers. So, they need to be able to not only have Harbaugh be on point with his coaching staff, but they have to have 1 year where all their guys don't get hurt. And if that happens, yeah, they're going to go 10-7 or 11-6, but we just haven't been able to see that happen before. It's always, 1 to 3 guys on offense and 1 to 4 guys on defense. And when we talk about 1 to 3, 1 to 4, it's all the good players. It's always Herbert and Eckler and Williams and Allen, or it's on the other side, Bosa and Khalil Mack and Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. Can't it be the shitty players get hurt for them, not the elite All-Pro Bowl Hall of Fame guys? But that's what it is for the Chargers every year. It's like all their Hall of Fame guys can't stay healthy. It's like they almost need to blow up the roster and get better players. Go for lower name guys that don't get hurt instead of wasting money on big contracts on guys that can't even complete a season. Rice? But at least it'll make Charger football irrelevant for Charger fans. And there's going to be a little bit more discipline in the building because honestly, Lynn and Staley, in my opinion, those are two of the worst coaches in the entire league at the time when they were coaching Los Angeles. Like to think that those guys were good enough for Herbert is laughable. I feel bad for the Charger fans. But again, they fired Marty Schottenheimer at 14-2. So obviously the ownership and the team itself is pretty fucking clueless. Mahomes? Incomplete. What a good game. Oway. Find the way, Oway. Noah Gray, the intended tight end / receiver. 3rd down and 4. James in the building. What's good, bro? Good luck today. I mean, it's going to be tough. The hardest way to get to the Super Bowl, going through the Niners. But hopefully, even if you lose, this won't be the last time that we see you guys in the NFC Championship game. Flag on the play. Holding. Holding on the O-line. Jen in the building. You're damn right it is. Should be 17-7, but again, these teams are going to take chances in this game. They realize how difficult it is to put up points. But if you realize that, take the 3 and stop trying to be the hero and trying to put the foot on the neck and trying to keep the foot on the gas. There's going to be plenty of times for that knockout blow in the second half. But again, if the Chiefs were up 17-7, the chances of the Chiefs winning this game goes up like 90%. So not saying that the Ravens couldn't come back from a 17-7 deficit, but the way that the Chiefs are playing, I don't think they would have. They would have maybe made it a little bit closer, but unless the Chiefs totally just derail themselves in the second half, it's got to be their game to lose. Flag on the play. The 10, the 5, touchdown, Chiefs, but that's coming back. That was a great play call right there. Flag on the play. After that touchdown, and then you realize there's a flag. Fuck! Yeah, but also too, it's going to be a team thing, and I'm not sure if the Chargers. And I'm a big Herbert guy, like I love Herbert, right? But I don't know if they're going to have a good enough team with this competitive AFC with like Allen and Burrow and Mahomes and Lamar and any other team that gets good with like Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Like, do we actually think that the Chargers are going to be able to make it to a Super Bowl one day? I don't know, man. I'm hoping at some point, either with the Chargers or his next team, that he'll be able to have at least one opportunity for an AFC championship game or one opportunity for a Super Bowl. But it's going to be very, very difficult. And it's crazy because Eckler is one of the top 10 backs. Herbert is normally a top 10 quarterback. Keenan Allen is normally a top 10, top 12 receiver. It's like they got a lot of guys that are top 10 guys at their position. Bosa, Mack, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. But again, their play calling sucks. Their injuries suck. Their coaching sucks. But now they have Harbaugh. So hopefully, Herbert's career won't be wasted. Field goal is up, and it's good. It could be 20-7 right now. And if it's 20-7, you're not coming back if you're the Ravens. So they definitely left 3 points on the board. But, 17-7 on the road, this Baltimore team, are they overrated? Are they as good as, people think they are? Yeah, they were able to beat the shit out of the Ravens, but or they were able to beat the shit out of the Niners. But again, this is Patrick Mahomes, not Brock Purdy. Like when it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes is going to be, the top dog out of quarterbacks. I mean, that's just how it goes. Mount Rushmore is going to be Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's what's going to be. So again, if you're going to be able to have your moment, again, Baltimore might not make the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl for a few years after this. So you have to make sure that you're doing everything in your power. But again, the O-line hasn't been good for the Ravens, and the play calling hasn't been good. So again, you never can count out the Chiefs, just like you never could count out Tom Brady and the Pats. As long as they're in the game, they're going to be that guy. And it's not like they have great OCs and DCs on Kansas City. They got Nagy and Spags. There's other guys that are better. Crazy. 17-7 should be 20-7, but at least for Ravens fans that, it's terrible right now, right? But at least you're not down 20-7. So at least you have to be thankful for that. Bucker kick is good. Yeah, but also remember, you got to crawl before you walk. And the Lions don't have a defense. So out of all the four teams that are left, there's only one team that doesn't have a D, and that's Detroit. So they were able to get past the first couple opponents, but to get past the Niners, that's going to be very, very difficult. But again, I don't think this is going to be the last time that we're going to hear about Detroit. This is just the first year in the Dan Campbell era, and we're going to have probably a 5-year stretch, of success. And then out of these 5 years, you got to hope that you can make 2 NFC championship games and at least 1 Super Bowl. All right, we're at halftime, 17-7, Kansas City. Anybody surprised with the score? I imagine most people are. Always rooting against the villain, going against Brady. It's just like going against Mahomes. It's not a good idea. It's like you got a lot of money, you got a lot of betting, a lot of wisdom, thinking that they're going to get it done. But again, experience typically is king too. We have to remember that as well. And like I said, Lamar doesn't have a whole lot of experience of winning in the playoffs. So but even if the Lions lose, I mean, you guys won 2 playoff games, not 1, but 2 in the last, in that 30-year stretch. So, I mean, if you guys end up falling a little bit short, I mean, like I said, it is what it is. I don't think anyone is going to, comment that they had a bad year. It's just the beginning of the Dan Campbell era. But anything is possible. The Lions have a chance. They're in the game. So. All right, let's take a look at the stats. All right, let's take a look at the box score. All right, let's take a look at our stats here. All right, Lamar Jackson, NFL MVP. You let me know if these are MVP numbers. 5 for 12, 67 yards, 1 touchdown. 5 for 12. That's not good enough to win. 4 carries for 27 yards. I mean, that part is good. Gus the Bus, 1 carry for 15 yards. That's your problem. You're not running the football. Justice Hill, 3 carries for 3 yards. You got a total of 9 carries for 46 yards, but Lamar's got 27 of them. You can't win when your running back has got 1 carry for 15 yards. You have to make sure you keep them honest. Okay? Zay Flowers has played well. At least Zay has got the 2 receptions for the 39 yards, but you're not really getting anything from anybody else. Roquan Smith with 11 tackles, so he's doing his job. Kyle Hamilton with 9 tackles. I see you. Let's take a look on the Kansas City Chiefs side. Patrick Mahomes, 20 for 25, 161 yards, 1 TD, no picks. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, Isaiah Pacheco, 14 carries, 41 yards, and a tutty. Mahomes, he also has 3 carries for 18 yards. And then Travis Kelce, 9 receptions, 98 yards, and a tutty. So, experience is always going to run King. And then Tranquil's got 4 tackles, and Jerry Sneed's got 2. 17-7, should be 20-7 when they decide to go for it on 4th down. And the Ravens fans have to feel a little lucky that they're only down 10, not down 13. Got to have your best players in the world have their best games in the postseason, right? You need to make sure that whoever plays the best, is it going to be Kelce and Mahomes, or is it going to be Lamar and Zay, or Lamar and Andrews, or is it going to be someone on the defensive side? But it shows you the Ravens are going to need a pick six, a fumble. They need something big. A punt return for a touchdown, kick return for a touchdown. If they don't get that magical play in the second half, I don't think they're going to win this game. Unless we have a complete implosion by the Chiefs. So, well, the main thing is you're just going to have to hope that Goff has time to go through his progressions. Now, when they play at home, they're great, but when they're on the road, the Lions aren't as good. And again, it's all about protection. If Goff has time, he'll be able to go through his progressions. But if that Niner defense gets in his grill, it might get ugly. And so again, it's all going to be won on the O-line and the D-line in the line of scrimmage. So. Five for 12? That ain't going to cut it, man. Like sometimes when we see Lamar, we're like, oh my God, this guy's like one of the best players in the world. But again, it's not what you're defined by in the regular season. You don't get awards for being the best in the regular season. Well, I guess you do, NFL MVP, but no one gives a shit about that if you don't end up getting to the Super Bowl and winning it all. Legacies are made in the playoffs, in the AFC, NFC championship game, and you don't want to be known as the guy that's really good in the regular season, but then sucks in the postseason. That's the last thing that you want to, be known for. Barry and Joe, I know Jerry Rice will be at the game too. And again, no one's talking about it, but again, O-line is going to be the reason why the team wins. It's O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, play calling. And again, if the Ravens O-line was playing better, they're not going to be down 17-7. And again, you have to be able to run the football. Like you're playing right into the Chiefs' hands. You didn't run the ball that much. Now you're down by 10. You should be down by 13, right? And then now, are you going to run the ball, or are you forced to throw the rest of the game? And that falls into the Chiefs' game plan. if they know that all you're going to be doing is scrambling and running and throwing, that plays into Kansas City's strengths. So I don't really like the way that this game is played out for the Ravens in the first half. Can they come back still? Yes, but they're going to need a hell of an effort and hope that the Chiefs just fucking implode in the second half with a couple picks or mistakes. But when the Chiefs are ahead, they know what to do. They're going to run the ball with Pacheco and bleed the clock. They're not stupid. Kadarius Toney isn't playing, so they don't got to worry about any drop balls or tipped interceptions going back to the house for a touchdown. So Blues won again in OT. Nice. Congrats. Let's get to 20 likes, and then hopefully we get a few more people to come through to show some love. Nine more to go to get to 20. I got you. I got the thumb already made. I had to make it in advance. And we got Jared Goff in the offense, and then Christian McCaffrey. If I would have had a little bit more time, I would have been able to find another image, for Mahomes in the white jersey facing the other direction. But I wanted to be able to have similar images. Like whenever you see my thumbs, everything's going to be like symmetrical, and it's going to be about the same size and the same type of image and whatnot. Full body right there, and then obviously with like 3/4 of the body, and then we got Goff and we got Run CMC. Can't wait. Definitely, it's going to be a long day for me to sit in a chair for like 7, 8 hours straight. But at least I made the thumbs yesterday, and we had a great time doing Royal Rumble. So, and shout out to Odin and Cyberpunk coming through big for us yesterday when we hit 3 racks on the donos. So that definitely helped a lot. We're at 5 right now, 95 to go. Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. If you're a Chief or a Niner fan, I mean, it's easy to be fans of those two teams because those are the powerhouse teams in the NFL, and they're gonna be for a long, long time. It's not like you're ever gonna see the Niners dip off like fucking Philadelphia because they don't act like those guys. You have to have a good GM, a good head coach, good play callers, and you have to have good stability. And when you have good stability, you can have longevity, and that's why the Chiefs have been as good as long as Andy Reid has been there. And obviously with Kyle Shanahan, we know that they're going to be very, very good. Hell, they were good when they had Harbaugh there. But now with obviously Lynch and Shanahan together, we're not going to see a drop off by the Chiefs and the Niners anytime soon. You know, and hell, we might end up seeing both of those teams play each other for championships in the future too. But again, if you're going to be that Bengals or that Ravens or that Bills or that Chargers or that other team or the Eagles or whoever it is, you better hope that you match up and you better hope that you got a defense or you're going to get fucking rocked. Experience is definitely king. Well, who wouldn't love Herbert? He's a guy that is methodical. He'll never get in trouble off the field. He's got a great arm. He has been getting hurt the last couple of years, which sucks. But again, if I was Harbaugh, like I said, you got to rebuild that O line and the defense. And as soon as we start hearing that the Chargers have a top 10 O line and a top 10 defense, that's when the Chargers are going to be in business of winning 10 to 13 games with Harbaugh and Herbert, Double H. But again, until that happens, if they just, pretty much keep the team the way that it sits, they're not going to be very good because that O line stinks and the defense stinks. And even with that being said, they got 4 guys that are legit, players. Joey Bosa is a dog. Khalil Mack this year was a dog, right? Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. are dogs. You got 4 guys out of 11 that are dogs. That typically means you got a great defense. But what about the other 7? Not very good. And on the O line for the Chargers, besides Rashawn Slater, not very good. So you got to figure that out. And if you figure that out and stop worrying about running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, like why the hell did you draft Quentin Johnson? You should have used that pick for another O lineman. You know what I mean? So hopefully they are smart enough to realize that and they can turn into a smash mouth team, kind of like a Michigan, and that way Eckler can get the most out of his skill set with the offensive line and then keep building the defense. But it may take a couple years before that happens, and hopefully Harbaugh still has the job at that point. Oh, there'll be a good amount. And like I said, for me, the two teams that I liked, watching and growing up and rooting for were the Niners and the Lions. I've always loved Barry Sanders. I've always loved Megatron. I watched, when they had Herman Moore and Brett Perryman and Scotty Mitchell. So I've watched, when Wayne Fontes was the coach. So like I've always liked the lovable losers in the Lions and like rooted for them, right? But now they finally have a coach that identifies with the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, and not only the people. And there's white collar and blue collar, but sometimes you have to have a coach that identifies with the team and the city, and then they get behind that guy. And they finally got the right one. It took them like 30 years to find a good coach, but they finally got him. And this is just the beginning for Dan Campbell and that team. And I love them, man. It just sucks that you have to go against the Niners. Like if it was like anybody but the Niners, you would probably be in better shape. But it's like you're going to have to beat the best to be the best. And it's going to be very, very difficult. Just like the Ravens, you got to get past the Chiefs, who are the New England Patriots with Tom Brady. It was almost impossible. I mean, even look at like Sarah's Colts when they had Peyton Manning. It took them loss after loss after loss after loss until they got Bob Sanders. And then finally that defense was able to slow down Brady enough they could squeak by and get a win. So, like, you could still be one of the, best in the world, right? You could still be one of the best in the world, but it's a team game. You got to have O-line and you got to have that defense too. Yeah, Gus Edwards not being utilized properly, and play calling is everything. All right, here we go. Ravens kick off. They better pray that defense comes alive. But again, the play calling has been terrible for the Ravens. The offensive line has been terrible for the Ravens. And if you can't have a good O line and you can't have a good play calling, how the hell do you think you're going to be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Your home crowd ain't doing it for you. The home crowd is not willing you to a victory. If it's 3rd down and 4, don't go to fucking Justice Hill. And that's why sometimes you got to lose these games to learn how much better you need to be. Just because you were able to beat up on teams in the regular season and then the early part of the playoffs, fine. But when you get to the AFC, NFC championship game or Super Bowl, everything is magnified. Look at that. 5 first downs, 22 plays. I ain't going to do it. And it should be 20-7. But also, James, you have to remember, like for me, with Tampa and the Ravens, we're the only two teams that go to multiple Super Bowls and never lose. Ravens have 2 appearances, 2 wins. I have 2 appearances and 2 wins. So you know what it takes to be able to be a champion. And once you guys get a defense, that's when you guys are going to end up winning a Super Bowl or getting to the Super Bowl. But at this point, your defense isn't there yet. You got Aiden Hutchinson, you got Branch, and you got CJ Gardner Johnson. You got a few pieces, but you don't have anywhere near a defense like the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Niners. So that's something to build on. And so if you end up losing, remember that once you end up having a top 10 D to match that top 10 offense, that's when Detroit will have a chance to go all the way. I mean, it is still possible that they find a way to win today, but again, it's going to be very, very difficult against San Francisco. And Shanahan is, one of the best coaches on planet Earth. And Dan Campbell, they're going to bring that energy and intensity. But again, we'll find out, O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, play calling, how Detroit will play on the road. And the thing that worries me also, is that if you go back into the regular season, the Lions couldn't even beat Justin Fields and the Bears on the road. So if you can't even beat a team like the Bears on the road, how are you going to beat a team like the Niners in the NFC Championship game? You have to be better. So it's an amazing year, right? But you got to take baby steps. You got to crawl before you walk. But I don't think this is the end of the Detroit Lions. This is just the beginning. Yeah, well, there's nothing to admit about. It's the truth. I mean, anyone that watches Detroit Lion football, which I've watched pretty much every game this season, the defense has not been good. It's not being a hater. It's just being truthful. They have no defense compared to the Chiefs or the Niners or the Ravens, where those guys are top five defenses. Sometimes the Lions will make plays, but it's not like the defense is a strong suit. The strong suit is Goff and the offense, Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, ground and pound, lightning and thunder, thunder and lightning, Amon Ra, Laporta, J-Mo going deep. That's the strength of the team as well as the coaching. And then Penny Sewell and that offensive line with Ragnow. That's the strength of the team, not the defense. Oh, good defense there. I just want you guys to be able to keep building that roster and getting some more draft picks and big names. And then again, once you guys end up having a top 10D, it's going to feel different. You're going to be a lot more confident going into the game. Because honestly, if Detroit had a top 10 defense, I would think that you would have a chance in this game. I'm not saying that you don't have a chance today, but again, most people are looking at it maybe 75-25. But again, most people thought the Ravens were going to beat the Chiefs, and now they're down by 10. So, and like I said, for Lamar's legacy, this isn't good. It just makes Pat look better and Lamar worse. And it shows you, yeah, you got Lamar, you got Herbert, you got Josh Allen, you got Burrow, but they're not Patrick Mahomes. Oh, absolutely. You kidding me? Gibbs, Campbell, Branch. Come on, bro. I don't have to be a Detroit Lions fan myself not to know things about the Detroit Lions. Hell, I know more about the Detroit Lions than most of the fans do. It just depends on how committed you are and how much you read and pay attention and if you watch the games or not. And plus, with me, it's like I've been following the team since the 80s, so it's not my first rodeo. That should have been a pick right there. What happened to my hands? Baltimore. O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, play calling. O-line has not been good for the Ravens. Play calling has not been good for the Ravens. You have Lamar Jackson, the NFL MVP, and you're at 7. And that's the reason why, some of these awards, that they give during the regular season when you're beating up on shitty teams like the Chicago Bears, which doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, we beat up on the Bears. Oh, we beat up on the Chargers. Yeah, you put up 50 or 60 on the Broncos, but that doesn't matter when you're in the playoffs. You know, who's winning the line of scrimmage? The Kansas City Chiefs. And if the Chiefs didn't have a top line, then on the defensive side, that's when the Ravens are going to take advantage. But yeah, the offense has been a little bit shaky with all the drops. But what has happened? The main guys that were dropping the ball, are they playing in the game now or in the playoffs? No. Sky Moore? No. Kadarius Toney? No. So that resolves a lot of the drops and a lot of the problems they had about a month ago, 2 months ago. Like, note to self: don't throw to those guys. Jim and John, that'll be good. Yeah, but again, it's like people love to exaggerate, and people love to come up with certain opinions, before the story is written, and again, it's amazing to have an MVP year in the regular season, but there's a lot of guys on the NBA, the MLB, and the NFL and the NHL that do the same damn thing where they have this amazing regular season, but when it comes down to legacy and to be able to make a name for yourself in the playoffs, right, that they just disappear. And that's you're always going to be known for what you do in your legacy in the playoffs, not what you do in the regular season. But I know Ravens fans right now are ripping out their hair if they had any. But again, it shows you if you're going to want to get past the Chiefs or win a Super Bowl, you better get a better offensive coordinator and you better beef up that O line because that's the only way that you're going to be able to compete with a team like the Chiefs or others in the future. Defense was good this year with Roquan Smith. Lamar was tearing up a lot of teams that had shitty O-line and D-line. But when you actually match up with a team that is exactly like you and has a quarterback that has more accolades than you, it's tough. Like stop trying to play on Patrick Mahomes like he's not good. The whole Taylor Swift thing is annoying, but the Chiefs are still, the team to beat in the AFC, and they will be just like Tom Brady and the Pats. It's never going to go away until the day that Pat is no longer playing. Then we could say the Chiefs are not a contender. But as long as he's there, just like Tom Brady and the Pats, they're always going to be the team that's going to be the hardest to beat, and they're going to be that dog. And remember, it's not just, Patrick Mahomes, it's Travis Kelce, but more importantly, it's Andy Reid. Buffalo Bills, yeah. I mean, even Burrow was able to get past, Kansas City. So what does that say about Burrow and Lamar? You know, Burrow is more trustworthy than Lamar is. Like Lamar will have some big games. You know what I mean? But to me, Lamar isn't a traditional quarterback. Lamar is kind of like a creative player, RG3, Colin Kaepernick, maxed out at like 100, like on creative player. But as far as like passing the football, I don't think that we can trust him as much as others. Like there's certain guys in the pocket that are a little bit more trustworthy, going through progressions. First read, second read, third read. And I think we trust Mahomes and Burrow a little bit more. Even though Lamar is popular and we like to root for him and we love him and we know that he can run like Michael Vick, but when it comes down to using your arm to make up big first downs and big plays, he's not as trustworthy as some of the other guys. You know, like even Josh Allen sometimes is more reliable than Lamar. You know what I mean? It's like Lamar can beat up on these shitty teams, but I need to be able to see you rip up on a good defense. Show me that you're capable of not just beating up shitty teams during the regular season or matching up against the Niners and doing a great job in that game, but then you can't get it done against the Chiefs and you're at home. What's the excuse? What's the excuse here? You're at home. You're the number one seed. No excuses. Low snap. But like I said, it shows you the Patrick Mahomes and then Lamar. There is a gap. I don't know. I just feel with Lamar, I can't trust him in the playoffs. You know what I mean? There's other guys that I trust a little bit more to make smarter decisions in the pocket. And it's not like I think Lamar is a terrible quarterback. I don't. But it's all about trust. Just like when we have fantasy, right? We have players that we trust. That's why I went heavy with Lions and Buccaneer players because I knew I could trust those guys. Second and 3. And all the times in those previous games, the Ravens defense set the tone. They're not able to get to Mahomes. That defense is not able to make Mahomes feel uncomfortable. And that's the only way that you end up beating the Chiefs is if you get pressure and you make him feel uncomfortable. But he's pretty much throwing to whoever he wants to. So I don't see the Ravens winning this in any way unless we end up getting a total meltdown out of Mahomes, but I don't see it. Michael in the building. What's good? Legacies are on the line. And, for all the people that wanted to say, Lamar's going to win a championship. Hey, not so fast. You still got to get past the Michael Jordan of our sport and Patrick Mahomes. So, like, they're going to need a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, a punt return, or a kick return for a touchdown. If the Ravens get that, they'll get back in this game. If they don't, this one's over. No excuses, too. And then, like I said, Chiefs at home, Chiefs on the road. It just magnifies the Kelce and Mahomes legacy. Like, stop playing with these guys. I mean, of course, all of us are tired about the whole Taylor coverage, but, that doesn't take away the greatness from Kelce, Pat, and Reed. Flag on the play. Holding. holding on the offense. And the Chiefs have totally taken out the Ravens out of the game. And obviously, if you're the number one rushing team and Gus has one carry, what are you doing? Are you trying to lose this game? Like I said, it's like play calling is everything. And if you're known for something like as like an identity, make sure you're doing that. It's like when the Michigan played Alabama and they didn't run the ball and they tried throwing it with JJ McCarthy on the first play. You have to know who you are as a team, and you have to make sure that you stay that way. If you're a running team, why the hell are you throwing? Run the damn ball. And now you're not going to because you're down by 10, and now you feel the pressure. You're fucked. Nice tackle by Hamilton. Third and 15. Make sure you take care of your mental health. Ravens defense is tired, right? And you're like, you haven't been able to get sack lunches or picks, really. I mean, shotgun set, third and 15. There you go. Good defense there by the Ravens. Hybrid, man. I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying it's you can't count your chickens before they hatch. Everyone, he's going to win the MVP. Oh, Lamar's the best player in the world. Is he? And it shows you Lamar is great, but your offensive line is not good today, and your play calling is even worse. So until you actually improve that offensive line and the OC, you're never going to be able to get past Kansas City or these elite teams. It's like you ended up beating the shit out of the Niners, and we thought we were going to have a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl, but it don't look like it. It's going to be like that now, bro. Lamar is only good when he has time in the pocket. When he doesn't have time, he's below average, mid. You know, and like I said, he was able to beat up on a lot of shitty defenses. And a lot of teams throughout the regular season. Besides that big win against the Niners, that was a very equally matched game where they beat the shit out of the Niners. But again, maybe a little too overconfident, maybe a little bit too cocky. That I won the MVP. It's our year. Got to find a way now. But this is one of the worst performances of the Baltimore Ravens I've seen in a long, long time. And again, it's because of the offensive line and that OC and the play calling. Play calling is terrible. How the hell are you going to have 3rd and 4 and you go to Justice Hill? How the hell are you going to be the number one rushing team in the NFL and you have Gus with 1 carry? It's your guys' fault. If you guys don't know how to play the Chiefs, you don't deserve to go to the Super Bowl and win. And hell, I mean, if you guys played like this, you're not going to beat San Fran. San Fran would have got fucking revenge on your ass. So hopefully you guys find a way to catch up. But again, the basics. Your number one running team, run the ball. Stop being someone that you're not. Unbelievable. Well, just like with Brady, no matter how much we hated him and we hated Belichick and Gronk, you know what I mean? Experience and playing smart and playing with discipline and having good play callers on the OC and the DC, getting good production on the O-line and D-line throughout that whole 20-year career of Brady, with the Pats, that was a big part of the success. The O-line success, the play calling and the defense. Come on, Ravens, do something. And now, you should be down 20-7. You have to be thankful you're down 17-7. And the thing is, now you're down, so now you're not going to run the ball. You should have been running the ball at the very beginning of the game and having a good balanced offense. Now you're down, and now you're going to be avoiding the run, and you're playing right into the Chiefs' defense hands because they know you're going to throw. And how good is a thrower of Lamar, right? How good of a thrower is Lamar when the defense knows he's going to throw? Not very good. When they know it's coming. Lamar is good when they don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to be a running play, an RPO, play action over the top. But how do you get to that point? By establishing the run. And they didn't do that today. So, I mean, really, it's just you guys have yourselves to blame. This is the worst performance I've seen from this O-line and this play calling from the OC all year. Unbelievable, man. Not forgivable. Not forgivable. Look at the rushing yards, 156.5. You have 50. And half of them are from Lamar. There we go. There we go. Oh, hey, get Gus the ball. Who would have thought that would be a positive yard game? First down, Ravens. Oh, we got the number one rushing game in the world. Let's not run the ball all game and let's see if we can win. Idiots. Dumb, dude. It makes me frustrated when I see such elite talent like fuck up this way in such a big fucking game. It's not like the Ravens are in the AFC Championship game every year. It's a battle to get there, and they may only get there every like 3 to 4 years. Don't waste Lamar's career like this. Go, go, Lamar. And we already know Lamar can dance and romance, and he's one of the greatest runners we've seen since Vic and Steve Young. But that's not going to end up getting you in the win column at the end of the day unless those runs are touchdowns at the end. You know, we know you can run, all right, but can you make a big throw when it counts? Now we got the rain coming down. Pound the rock, damn it. It's like, are you guys that intimidated by Chris Jones that you just think you can't get anything? There's that Chief defense. And again, it's whoever's offensive line is the best is going to win the game, and it definitely ain't Baltimore. And you might have been able to get away with that against shittier teams during the regular season, but not Chris Jones and company with Carl Aftis. Man, play calling has just been horrific. Horrific. And it shows you also they may need to get another number one receiver. It's like you got Zay, but Zay is more of a two. It's like you need a Mike Evans, type of guy, in Baltimore. There we go. First down, Ravens. No, Dalvin Cook sucks. He's not going to play at all. You got to think when he went from the Vikings to the Jets, you're a forgotten piece now. Like Dalvin Cook is no longer going to be a top 10 running back ever. If anything, he's going to be second or third string. We'll probably never see him again. It's crazy how quick, things can change. If you're Todd Gurley or if you're Le'Veon Bell or Dalvin Cook, you could be the top guy, number 2, number 3 in the NFL for years. And then all of a sudden you get traded to a shitty team and then your career is over. And then now he's there, but, he's not going to get any reps. I mean, I wouldn't trust him. Oh, yeah. I mean, shit, Dalvin Cook was a top 10 running back in fantasy for how many years in a row? 5, 6, 7? A lot. But again, once you get traded and then you end up bouncing around and you don't have the same role and they don't use you the same way, like I doubt we're ever going to see Dalvin Cook put up top 10 numbers in the NFL ever again. And his time is gone. It's over. It's like he had his time. It's done. It's like, it's sad to say, but it's the reality. Just like with Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley, how great they were. Number 1, number 2 backs for a while. And then all of a sudden it was done. And that was it. And there was no coming back. 2nd and 5. Lamar. Going to Mark Andrews. And again, a healthy Mark Andrews makes a huge difference. Flag on the play. Chris Jones is down. But that's really going to be the narrative of the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward, that no matter if they're at home or on the road, we got to stop playing around with Pat. He is the modern day Tom Brady until we can actually have teams consistently beat the Chiefs. That's just kind of how it's going to be. And then if you're in the NFC, it seems like it was like, kind of the Niners, the Eagles. It kind of bounces around from, this team one year, this team the next year. But I mean, it's like pretty much, you can book it. The Chiefs are going to be in the AFC Championship game, and the Niners are going to be in the NFC. So if you're going to be playing either one of those teams, you better bring, an A-plus game. Otherwise, you're going to lose. CeeDee Lamb's mom talk. Oh yeah, because obviously they're just gonna talk about the family members and how great they are, and of course everyone's gonna shit on Dak. I mean, if they really want to be successful, you get rid of Jerry Jones, you get rid of McCarthy, and you get rid of Dak. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Offensive line for the Ravens is dog shit. Yum 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 yum. So anyone that thought that you could actually win a game with a suspect O line, you can't. This O line is terrible. Spags earning his paycheck right now and showing even though that there's other defensive coordinators that are better than Spags, he's still a top 10 defensive coordinator. There's guys that are better, but he can call the right blitzes at the right time, and it shows. Oh yeah, I mean he's going to be breaking records left and right. But I think it's the frustration with Dak nutting up in the playoffs every year. But again, it's not only Dak, it's the defense. But they don't want to bring that up in the play calling in McCarthy. Oh, it's Kellen Moore's fault. Now it's McCarthy's fault. Like, the bottom line, the Cowboys are cursed like the Chargers. They're almost identical, with the problems that they have year in and year out, except the Chargers, have more injuries than the Cowboys. And the Cowboys have Dan Quinn on top of that and Micah Parsons. There's no excuse. It's like you have a very well-rounded team, like normally, like the Niners and the Chiefs, and some of these teams that have offense and defense. Like imagine having a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, and then just being dog shit in the playoffs every year. That's the Dallas Cowboys. That's terrible. Like, how good do you have to be to actually go to the Super Bowl and win, or to win playoff games? You have to have top 3 offense, top 3 defense. Is that what the Cowboys need? It looks like it. Because unless you have something like that, then they're probably never going to advance. And it's like if they win a playoff game, they can only beat a shitty Buccaneer team with Brady on his last leg. So yeah, Khalif Raymond, that'll be the only inactive there. That might be a little tough. Cole Tucker. Let me go get myself a Mountain Dew. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. All right, I'm back. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. All right, Chiefs, your turn. Oh yeah, tight ends get picked in the first round. If you're good enough, you can get picked in the top 10. And if you're a top 10 pick, it could end up being someone like a Kittle or a Kelsey or an Andrews or a Sam Laporta. But Brock Bowers is on Georgia, and statistically, he's had one of the best seasons out of any college football tight end ever. So he has potential to be, like these other tight ends or being like a top 5, top 6 tight end in the league if he goes to the right team that gets him the ball. Good defense there by the Ravens. But again, if Brock goes to the team that doesn't get him the ball, he'll be wasted like Kyle Pitts. So it all depends. Like, you can be drafted top 5, top 10, but you got to have a quarterback and an OC and a team that gets you the ball. And then if they do, then you're going to get results like Sam Laporta with Jared Goff and the Goffense this year. It just depends. You want Jared Goff, going to Laporta, or are you going to have a Desmond Ritter and Heineke from Heineke not going to Kyle Pitts? Like Pitts is probably the most underutilized top 10 talent tight end ever. But maybe if they end up drafting a quarterback, or if they get Justin Fields in a trade, or they get Shedeur Sanders in a year or two, maybe that will turn it around. So, come on, hybrid. I thought this Ravens team was a Super Bowl. You guys were going to win it all. What's going on? I thought this team was going to smoke Kansas City. This team was going to smoke the Niners if they were going to play that just like they did in the regular season. What happened? It shows you when you play in these big games, what needs to happen and things that need to be improved on the following year. And until things get improved, you're not going to be able to, the David and Goliath story. It's a great story, but if you don't improve the team in those key spots, you're just going to be looking up at, Patrick Mahomes like everyone looked up at Tom Brady for 20 years. Come on, Ravens. And again, mistakes are going to be very crucial because, again, you're down by 10. Momentum hasn't been in your favor. The crowd is out of the game. There is no extra, momentum that you're getting from the cheering. So kind of like you guys are on an island by yourself and no one's there to rescue you, unfortunately. And I was actually ready for the Lamar era. I was ready for Lamar to make it to a Super Bowl, regardless if they won against the Niners or lost, but just to get there. Somebody new, somebody different. But, those opportunities are earned, not given. So, come on, Ravens. But it also shows you, like I said, offensive line weak. Lamar as a passer in the playoffs against a good defense, not very good. Play calling, not using the run game when you're the number one run team in the NFL. It's like you can't expect the defense to bail you out like they did all year when you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs at home. You got to be able to do your part too. And then as soon as this game ends, we'll be jumping from this game to the NFC Championship with Jared Goff and the Goffense and Christian McCaffrey and Run CMC and the Bang Bang Niner gang. Chiefs fans donated 3 racks. Ravens fans 0. Maybe that's the difference. No extra juju that you're going to get. 17-10 Chiefs. All right, Ravens, show me. Lamar going deep. There we go. There goes Zay. There we go, Zay. There we go. Finally. Jesus Christ. Took him long enough. There we go, Zay. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We've been waiting for that all fucking game. But again, when your O line stinks, then you don't have those opportunities. Nice job, Lamar to say first down, Ravens. And you know you're going to get at least 3 on this play. Oh, boy's losing his voice. Super Bowl logo doesn't mean shit. That's just all about the conspiracy bullshit, that people try to look on the internet. Anything that you see based off fucking logos on the Super Bowl is absolute dog shit stupid. Like, you think the NFL is going to have everything predetermined based off the fucking logos and the colors on a Super Bowl poster? Come on, man. Shotgun set, Lamar. Good protection there. And I don't know what it's going to take if Lamar has to go to a couple AFC championship games and lose before he ends up winning it. But I'd give that offensive line for Baltimore an F today. OC gets an F, and then the running game gets an F. You're at home. You're not even on the road in Arrowhead. But even with that being said, you got 3 Fs and you're still in it if you score here. Got to score in the early fourth quarter. There we go. Zay again. It's like they only have one guy they can go to. First down, Ravens. Let's go to the fourth quarter. But I mean, if you're NFL MVP and you put up 7, do you deserve to win the MVP? Come on, Ravens. Let's make this a game. Damn it. Fourth quarter. You got this guy, Gus the Bus. Use him. Hello. And it also shows you, too, this is the game where you needed a healthy Mark Andrews to be able to counteract what you got from Travis Kelce. You needed to be able to have someone like this healthy. And if he's healthy, maybe that's the difference. Being able to go to him, other than the others. I mean, is OBJ even playing? What other guys are out there? But again, if you don't have time to go to OBJ, to go to Nelson Aguilar, to go to your other guys, it can't just be Lamar to Zay, and you think that's going to be good enough to win. Come on, Ravens. Make it more competitive here. I mean, hell, even if you get a field goal, that'll be a win. You just got to get something to stop the bleeding. But I'll tell you what, if the Ravens played like this against the Niners in the Super Bowl, you ain't winning that either. There's no way in hell that you could play like this and think that you're going to win a Super Bowl. And you're not even going to be at home. It's going to be on a neutral turf. So very alarming that Baltimore, fans and the way that this game is going. Like, there is no home field advantage for Baltimore. I figured their fans would be better, but I guess I was wrong. Gosh, why couldn't we have had a healthy Mark Andrews? Damn it! Chiefs are going to win this. Unbelievable. Well, there goes the game. Game over. Mental mistakes. It's over. Let's look at the replay. So the Jerry Sneed. Antoine Winfield Jr., that same type of thing. It's over. Nice try, hybrid. It's over. That's what happens, if you don't, like if you have L'Jarius Sneed, Antoine Winfield Jr., we will punch the football out, and you got to make sure that you secure the bag, and you fumbled the bag. Better luck next year. This team, I mean, hell, the way that the Ravens are playing today, you wouldn't even beat Detroit. Shows you how hard it really is, to be able to get to this point. And then not only to get to this point, but to win this game, let alone the Super Bowl. And now the Chiefs are going to run the clock and, try to bleed the clock out. They'll still have to throw the ball a little bit here and there, but Queen and Kelsey going at it. Frustrations building over for the Ravens. But again, if you're in the AFC Championship game and you put up 7, you don't deserve to win anything. Congratulations, Kansas City. Not over yet, but we're getting pretty close. Sneed playing like the Pro Bowler that he is. And complete. Maybe the sports gods could have given the Ravens some more juju if they supported your boy. First down, Chiefs. You don't support your boy? No dubs, no wins. Only heartbreak. $11 targets, 11 receptions, 116 yards, and a tutty. Is that good for legacy? You tell me. But again, the team that had the best O-line was going to win the game, and it wasn't Baltimore. Maybe Lamar's overrated. I mean, it's nice to get excited when we start to see something new and something different, but we can never forget, where the greatness is, and where it starts and where it ends. Like to act like Mahomes isn't Tom Brady is ridiculous. So I guess we're starting to realize that every single year now after Brady's going to be gone, that the villain is no longer Tom Brady. It's Patrick Mahomes, and he lives up to it. He used to be the underdog. Now he's the villain, and he's handling that role perfectly. First down and 10. And when you fuck up, it rains and then it pours. This will be a very good lesson for Baltimore to learn and understand what needs to be done, for you to be able to win. And now they're getting chippy and getting dirty now, Ravens players. Getting chippy and getting dirty ain't going to get you 10 points. Man in motion. And if you notice with Mahomes, he's not forcing anything. Everything is just going to be right in front of him. Take what the defense gives you, hand the ball off, throw a screen, throw it away. You're going to be very timely with your deep throws, on what you're going to do. Roughing on Clowney. There's another mistake. Automatic first down. Now get that referee some cough drops. Come on, Clowney, dirty. What did you think you were going to get away with that? That was stupid. It's like you're trying to knock Pat out of the game. Is that what you're trying to do? Lamar's legacy takes a big hit in this game. Like I said, especially if you want to give him the NFL MVP, and then you're in the AFC Championship game after you get the award and you put up 7. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum 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 yum. Oh, they're scrapping. Got his knees twisted around there too. Look at the athleticism of Pat being able to twist around and then to have the awareness to get back up. Thank God that wasn't an ACL tear. First time sacked this postseason at 101 passing plays. That means that the offensive line is the real MVP of the Kansas City Chiefs, but will never get the credit that they deserve. I mean, we'll talk about it here, but no other channel is going to talk about it. The announcers aren't talking about it. But again, the MVP of Kansas City, when they won their Super Bowl last year against the Eagles, and then what they're doing right now, the MVP isn't Patrick Mahomes. It ain't Taylor Swift. It ain't Travis Kelce. It ain't Andy Reid. It's that O-line. They're playing fantastic. A+. Should be able to get a stop here. Obviously not trying to go for that deep PI or the jugular, just trying to take what the defense is giving them. Pass incomplete. All right, Ravens, your turn. You're running out of time. Show me something. Show me that you are actually the NFL MVP. Show me. Show me. Show me that you actually deserve the award. And I don't even really want to, blame it on necessarily Lamar. It's more of the play calling and then the lack of the running game and the offensive line getting fucking obliterated. Chief Niner rematch. I mean, and like I said, they had that 3 points. There'd be 20-7. They ended up having that Zay touchdown. I mean, the game could be 17-14 or 20-14. 10:35 to save their season and their reputation of Lamar Jackson. Bateman, incomplete. And it just feels like the offense has never really gotten into a groove. Like normally you see the Ravens playing with discipline, but again, when you get to a position when you're going against the king of the castle and then you lose yourself, right? And you're not disciplined anymore, then you only have yourself to blame. You let Kansas City live rent free in your head, and they're still living there. Yeah, and we'll probably see quite a few Chief Niners Super Bowls before it's all said and done. Also, so you got Odell, and then that's the first time you go to him in the fourth quarter. It's not like Odell's All Pro or anything like that, but I mean, you can't expect to beat a team like Kansas City by playing this type of offensive scheme. Yeah, there's going to be like 3 or 4 teams that are going to be clamoring. Well, it also depends if they get eliminated today, which I assume they will be. The Niners will beat the Lions. But at least the two best options are still available with Slowick and Johnson, and it's not like the Hawks are going to hire Vrabel or Belichick. So at least you wouldn't think so. So far so good, at least for the Hawks. But as far as the Ravens are concerned, you got to improve. This is a team game, not a me game. And like I said, it's not all Lamar's fault. I would say more the offensive coordinator and the O line, but tough if you're a Baltimore Raven fan. 3rd and 1. What was that? Like their third down play calling has been horrendous. Yeah, not happening, Aiden. Nice try. Wow, they got a conversion. Too bad first downs aren't worth 7. But there's no scenario where the Ravens deserve to win the game. You just can't play like shit the whole game and then expect to win, especially against a team that won the Super Bowl last year. You have to be much more crisp, against a team like this. It's like finally the first game where they needed Mark Andrews healthy, and they were able to get past other teams without him. But this is the game that they needed him to match the Travis Kelce production. Now you got Odell with a couple catches. Where was this in the first half? And you're not running the football, so you're already playing into the hands of the Chiefs all game. This is a tape that you just burn and throw away. Ravens. Number one rushing team in the NFL, and let's not give them the ball the whole game. All right, ready, break. Edwards, former Buck. Legacies are made in the postseason, let me tell you. And I don't know if we thought that Patrick Mahomes would turn into Tom Brady as the villain as quickly as he did, but here we are. And moving forward for the rest of his career, it's going to be like this. Unless you play in a particular year where Mahomes gets hurt and he's out for the year, then there's going to be someone new that's going to be able to get to the game and possibly win. But as long as Mahomes is healthy, all the other AFC teams are screwed. Nice catch. There you go. First down, Ravens. Finally. Is it too little, too late, though? Lamar, what can you say? A couple good plays, and then a couple bad ones. I don't know. Lamar might be overrated. Oh, they absolutely got outcoached. But again, the simple things, like if you're the number one rushing team, you run the ball with Gus Edwards. You know what I mean? And then by the time you get into the third quarter and you're down by 10 and you still don't run the ball, how do you expect to win? It shows you as good as Lamar is, it's a team game. When he was, having big games of 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and no picks, it was because they were running the football with Gus the Bus, in Justice Hill. The defense was making picks and sacks and fumbles. It was a team effort, but you haven't seen a team effort here. And it's over. Stupid ass throw by Lamar. You live and you learn. But clearly, I mean, it's not like the Chiefs have 34. It's not like 34-7. Should be 20-7 with the field goal that wasn't taken, and they decided to go for it. But again, it shows you both teams have really good defenses. But again, who's ever O line was going to play the best was going to win, and it's clearly Kansas City. O line, D line, defense, coaching, play calling, and pretty much you can check all the boxes off for Kansas City. Yeah. Mental errors, sometimes thinking that you're a better quarterback than you are, that you can squeeze it in there. And again, if you are Lamar or Patrick Mahomes or Burrow or Herbert or Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, of course you believe you can do it because you're, six of the best on planet Earth at doing this game that we call the NFL at quarterback. But even the greats, can get baited, on bad throws. But that one was like triple coverage. I don't know if he was trying to get PI right there, and trying to draw the flag. That's what it looked like. But then the throw ended up being a little short, and it is what it is. It's all good, bro. You like I said, you have to be able to learn. Like it's a team game, and the O line and the defense, and the play calling. So many things are going to be a factor. And the Ravens team wasn't disciplined today. Offensive line played like shit. Offensive coordinator played like shit and called plays like shit. I won't say it's all Lamar's fault because it's not. But a combination of not giving the ball to the Ravens running backs, offensive play calling was terrible, and then the defensive guys were losing their cool. The recipe for disaster. Count your chickens before they hatch. Like Lamar is good, but he's not as good as people think he is. You know what I mean? Like, you can beat up on the shitty teams, but again, it's like what you do against the good teams. That's what you're going to be known for, not because you went up and beat a fucking Chicago Bear team by 50. No one's going to give a shit about that 10 years from now, let alone remember it. It's all good. You had a good season, man. But I mean, even when the Bengals were able to get past, the Chiefs, they didn't win the Super Bowl. So maybe Patrick Mahomes gets another ring, or maybe the San Francisco 49ers finally climb the mountain. Yeah, things got worse once you left. More mistakes, more undisciplined football, not running the football with your running backs being the number one, rated team with running the ball. It hasn't been all Lamar's fault. That throw at the end was not ideal, but again, it's like you're almost getting just beat up on every phase of the game. But again, Lamar's legacy took a big hit today, and Patrick Mahomes' legacy added another notch to his belt. And this is the first time that Mahomes was able to win on the road, and it definitely signifies a moment in NFL history where Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. There is no shadow of a doubt, that you're going to have to go through Pat, just like we went through Brady for 20 years. If you're going to be able to get to the Super Bowl, it's not going to be easy ever. And you have to play a perfect game to get past them. Same thing in the Super Bowl. Everything has to be perfect. Good return there. 5 minutes to go. Lions and Niners up next. Hazley will be missing me, but hopefully she'll be okay. I gave her dinner early, and we'll be clocking in on that in about 30 minutes. Let's go. NFC, baby. That's what it's about. NFC. Top five defenses. It ended up being a very low scoring game, but I don't think anybody anticipated Baltimore with only 7. Shotgun set. Pressure on the edge. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Offensive line for Baltimore. Dog shit. Yum, 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 yum. Carl Aftis, Chris Jones. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. But, if I'm Baltimore, I am embarrassed. You want to say Lamar, Lamar, Lamar. No, 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 no. You say offensive coordinator and offensive line dog shit. And also, the Ravens need a true number one. That's another thing. Zay is not a number one. They need someone else to relieve the pressure. I guess that normally is Mark Andrews, but he's not healthy. They needed him in this game, 100%. Spags definitely gets a couple notches on his belt with his defensive play calling as well. He moves up the ladder a little bit as far as defensive coordinator talent after this game. Pump fake by Lamar. Bobbled. Nice catch by Justice Hill. First down, Ravens. Good awareness there by Justice Hill to be able to reach back and get that ball. But nothing makes me more angry and frustrated when you have a team that is like the best at something, like running the ball, and then they just don't run. Like, why? Are you that intimidated by Chris Jones and the other guys? You think you can't run? And that just plays into the hands of the other team. It's like, yes, I get it. It's intimidating when you're looking on the other side and you see like Chase Young or like Nick Bosa, or you end up seeing Chris Jones. But that doesn't mean you change your whole game plan because you're scared. I got some peanut M&Ms I'm going to be opening up here pretty soon. I got some chips and everything, but I'm still kind of full. First down, Ravens, Justice Hill. Had some fried rice and some chicken earlier, but I think I ate too much. Kind of got me full, but I wanted to make sure I had something before doing this long 7-hour stretch. Now we got an injury on the ground. And of course, Ravens fans are going to say he's faking. Stop the momentum. The Neighborhood, hell yeah. Love that show. February 12th. Like, how do you got this man and you don't give him the ball? And the sad thing is Gus the Bus is a guy that can rip off a 20 to 50-yard run if you give him a chance. Like, we've seen him do it all year. We've seen him do it last year. We've seen him do it a lot. And sometimes he'll break 2 tackles, and then it looks like he's going to get 5 yards, and he gets 50, and they get a touchdown. So when you have a weapon like that and you're not utilizing it, I mean, you only can blame yourself at that point. Lamar dancing, romancing. Oh, God. Oh, boy came in there trying to hit him like a fucking laser. Yeah, Neighborhood is a good show. There's not very many good comedy sitcoms that are on TV anymore, but that is one of the better ones. Well, your poster was wrong, Aiden. And like I said, this is going to be a huge wake up call for any team that goes against Kansas City moving forward. We thought, well, they had all those drops, but the problem is if you're banking on Kansas City having all those drops, all the players that had the drops are no longer playing. They're either injured or on the bench. So, and Mahomes isn't throwing to those guys anymore. So, what we saw 2 months ago, we're not seeing anymore. The Chiefs have cleaned up a lot of those problems that they had in the first 2 months of the season. Lamar, 3rd and 5. I don't know who you've thrown to there. Field goal is up, and it's good. 17-10, Chiefs. Well, at least it's a little bit closer. And even as bad as the Ravens have played, right? If they just would have limited the mistakes and been able to take care of business, maybe they win 20-17. I mean, it's not like they've been absolutely getting clobbered like 34-7, even though it feels like it. Still hanging around, even though they've been getting obliterated from top to bottom. No, top of the list for sure. All right, Chiefs, your turn. Yeah, they're not going to do a 2-point conversion. If anything, if they were able to tie it up, they would go into OT. They don't have the balls to go for two and have everything riding on a 2-point conversion. Wouldn't happen. Not based on how they played in this game. I mean, jobs would be lost if you ended up playing like shit and then you end up going for it for two at the end and then you don't get it and you lose when you could have went to overtime and maybe won. I mean, that's how you get fired and never get a job ever again. There's a time and a place to go for it for 2-point conversion, and it ain't here. But let's see if the Chiefs can execute this offense and find a way to end this game. Yeah, it's not going to just be run, 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 punt, give them another chance. They're definitely going to try to throw the football at some point in the drive to be able to get that additional first down. Flag on the play. Pacheco with a nice run. It's on the KCO line. Should be on the defense. Wow, Jesus Christ. Come on, John. I thought you were a good coach. You got fucking out coached today. Everyone wanting a Harbaugh championship. It ain't happening this year. Sucks, man. I expect a lot more out of teams when they're in the AFC NFC championship game. And I feel bad for Lamar's legacy. I really do. Ravens players losing their cool. I haven't seen them lose their cool all year, but it's happened. Good job, Roquan. Nice job, Roquan. Good job. Sports gods will not allow the Ravens to win this game. You didn't have, there was nothing that they did today that would earn them a victory to go to the Super Bowl based off this performance today. Nothing. Ravens call timeout. Good thing I already got the thumbnail ready for the next stream, so we'll hop into that. I got to do some tags and do all that and whatnot, but should be over in time. This game's supposed to start in 25 minutes, so And if they have to push it out another 5 or 10 minutes, they will. But I'm an NFC guy, so of course I'm going to enjoy the NFC championship game a hell of a lot more than the AFC, even if it ends up being a blowout. Nice in motion, handoff. Final timeout by the Ravens, and they get the 2 minute warning. So he's kind of good. Yeah, well, I just depends. Oh, you're an AFC fan, so most AFC fans prefer AFC. NFC fans prefer NFC. But I guess in your case, and some other AFC fans, if your team isn't in it and your team isn't the Chiefs or the Ravens, yeah, you might go where Laporta's at or where the Niners are at. So different style of football. It's over. MVS first down, Chiefs. It's over. It's over, baby. Andy Reid and Mahomes. That's why they're the best. They take calculated risks at the right time. Nice job. And it's only fitting for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, when he had some drops early in the year by Kadarius Toney and MVS, and MVS has a chance to remake, some apologies, and coming up big with a big play instead of a big drop. Nice job, MVS. Everything comes back full circle in an NFL season. I mean, and the fact is, it's not like a 34-10 ass whooping. Like at the end of the day, it's 17-10, but it felt like 34-10 or 28-10. It didn't feel like 17-10. It didn't feel like you were only, down by 7 or lost by 7. It felt like you guys lost by multiple touchdowns because of the flow of the game. So Again, you got to get a better OC, you got to get a better O line, and defense has to be more disciplined. And even though you only lost by 7, that's the difference between winning and losing in the AFC Championship game. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes doing it again. And I guess we're going to get Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl, huh? If there was a game that they needed this guy more than ever, it was today. No Mark Andrews, no win. Mark Andrews, a healthy Mark Andrews, maybe that ties what Kelsey did, and maybe the game is a little bit closer. But this wasn't meant to be this year. $11 targets, 11 catches, a touchdown, best tight end in the game. And that's what happens. Legacies are made, right? History is meant to be broken, but it tends to repeat itself as well. Final score: Kansas City Chiefs 17, Ravens 10. Now I got to end the stream and get ready for the Lions and the Niners. So I got to be able to take care of that. So I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And let me get set for that, and I'll be live here in about 17 minutes for the start of the Detroit Lions and the Niners for the NFC Championship game. Shout out to all the people that donated, commented, shared. I love you. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Thanks.